lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Phoenix Raceway, the 2024 Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series is ready to crown a champion tonight here in the desert sands of Arizona. Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to Phoenix, formerly known as ISM Raceway, as we are here tonight to finally see who is going to be our champion this season in the 2024 year. And of course, you know, it's been a long year. You've all been riding around with us for the whole season, and folks, I cannot, compliment you enough for tuning in. Of course, from, Alex Murray winning the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum earlier this year, to Patrick Gitter winning the Daytona 500, to, of course, our championship for who we get to see tonight. Who will bring it all right here on Sim Racing Media? We'll let you know, as we're going to be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you with us tonight. And of course, here I am, the voice of Sunday Night NASCAR, alongside my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. Alan Bergen. Alan, It's finally time. It's championship night.
I feel like we were just at the Coliseum for the Clash, and it's kind of funny how it all comes full circle. I get to start the season with you, and I get to end the season with you.
You know what, though, man? I'll tell you what. Not only have the drivers improved on their skill, you have done the same. We have done it here at Sim Racing Media, and you know, it's not just about being the champion on the track. It's about being a champion up here in the broadcast booth, and that's what you have with you, a pair of championship broadcasters with you tonight, ready to bring all of the action. Of course, our championship four, let's check in on them now. Of course, it's going to be Matthew Long out of Atlanta, Georgia, as we pull this up over here. Matthew Long, Paul Hill, Neil Pearson, and Sean Rogers, they will duke it out tonight. These four drivers have been even. They've all got the same amount of points, and now tonight it depends on who finishes best, if not with the checkered flag, as we just saw with Joey Logano in the real-life series. So, folks, strap yourselves in and get ready, because it's going to be one heck of a night. In fact, let's take a look down here at Matt Long out of Atlanta as we get ready to roll here. And, of course, now the graphics decide to give up. Cool.
It wouldn't be a championship night without that going down.
Love that for us. Oh, I'm so happy.
You know, I did get to talk to a couple of the drivers in the championship for here pre-race, you know, one being Sean Rockin' Rogers, and he says, you know, it's been a good season. You know, Sean Rogers, damn near has perfect attendance, missing only 1 week out of 36.
Yeah, Sean Rogers and almost all of these drivers, you know, have darn near perfect attendance, as you had just mentioned, as we see Matt Long coming down pit road. Of course, we've got about 96 seconds left in the warm-up while these drivers get their time in here. And we see Matt Long, we see Paul Hill in the number 6 machine as he's ready to get the Dent Slayer Ford Mustang into victory lane. Sean Rogers already had the Beast Mode Chevrolet out on track. And, of course, the modern-day Silver Fox, Neil Pearson from Perth, Australia, looking to hoist his first trophy. You know, that's the other thing tonight. Not one person has ever won a championship in this league, so we will have a first-time championship tonight here at Phoenix Raceway.
Yeah, and, you know, I was talking to Sean also. I've become a Sean Rogers fan. Don't want to be biased, but I'm going to be biased. You know, over these past 35 weeks, I've watched Sean Rogers. I'm slowly becoming a Neil Pearson fan.
Well, let's throw that out here into the YouTube.com live chat. Let us know which one of our 4 championship drivers you think. Let's see what happens here. Is I'm going to quick back out to the blimp view, because now I hear somebody complaining about their paint scheme, so we'll quick get that recycled. Let us know, folks, who you think is going to bring home the championship trophy this year. Will it be Paul Hill? Will it be Sean Rogers, Neil Pearson, or is it going to be Matt from down there in Atlanta? And obviously, we already know Alan's pick is going to be the 44. And I'll tell you what, and I do love me some Sean Rogers. I do. You know, of course, we've developed a really good relationship with he and his girlfriend, Amanda Price, and, you know, but something tells me Matt Long has been saving. Matt Long has been saving for this moment and preparing himself for this moment of the race season.
Absolutely, and you know, I'm pretty excited. 312 laps here, the distance. That's the laps of the race. And you know, I imagine that Amanda Price has got some Yingling in the fridge, ready to go for when Sean Rogers wins this championship. And
if Amanda Price doesn't have Yingling in the fridge, I've got some here on the desk tonight. Get yourself some Yingling Flight. Let's take a look at our final starting lineup of the season as we get ready to roll. Dylan Banks is going to get things started on the pole position. Bobby Anderson sits to the outside with Neil Pearson and Matt Long, both playoff drivers, sitting here in row number 2. Sean Rogers and Paul Hill, they're going to be in row number 3. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's our playoff drivers getting ready to start. Row 4 going to be Chris Davis and Matt Cox with Tane Hoddison and Mike McConville out of South Jersey. going to be rounding out your starting top 10. Tanner, Marty, and Michael Witt in row number 6, while row 7 going to feature Alex Princeton and Tyler Hutter. Richard Pruitt and Bryson Alexander in row number 8, while row 9 is going to be Chris Claude and Larry Miles. Keith Long and Michael Caffrey get things started off over here in row number 10 in our starting top 20, while Eric Popino and Cody McCorkle are going to be in row number 11. Steve Harry and John Wilco in row 12, with Chris Custer, Diego Rodriguez, Ken Ron, Matt Mackin, and Noah Hamilton rounding out the rest of the field. The iRacing.com pace car already diving off. We're not going to waste any time tonight, as of course this is a very long trip from the entrance to pit road down to the green flag. Let's get ourselves ready to start here, Alan. As of course I had mentioned, Alan Bergen with me for championship night. Folks, this is what we've all been waiting for, as Dylan Banks leads the field into turns number 3 and 4. There's one final time we're going to do this on Sunday Night NASCAR. It's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your honey buns and settle in. Race fans, it's championship week. It's showtime. Green flag in the air, and let's rock and roll just as soon as we see what could have been the first caution of the evening. Couldn't get it started here. Thanks, folks.
Well, to be fair, I mean, the real world NASCAR race made it to lap 2.
Yeah, but it's like I showed up with my tuxedo on, ready to go, and let's take a look and find out what happened. We're going to watch Tyler Hutter here in the 48. Watch him here on the low. He comes right across the 19. That's Alex Princeton, and all of a sudden we have nothing but race cars a gaggle. Love that for him.
I mean, you definitely want to end your season on a high note, even though you're not really racing for a championship here tonight, but you don't want to end it on a hauler either.
Oh, there's Matt Mackin, speaking of ending it on the hauler. Well, folks.
I mean, Dave, you really brought the energy that time.
Buddy, listen, I am so excited. I mean, this is championship week, and I've been at it here since February when the green flag dropped the very first time at the LA Coliseum. And listen, you know, these guys hold a special place in my heart no matter how much they really upset me the last couple of weeks as we had nothing but caution festivals. I'm finally ready to get some green flag racing. I mean, listen, I have nothing but Stacy Strong running through my veins.
I mean, like, you even brought the Troy Aikman jersey out because, you know, we are the only show in town on Sunday night.
Let's talk about that. I don't know how to feel about the Dallas Cowboys anymore. Let's take a look at the YouTube.com live chat so I don't wind up here, you know, considering throwing myself out into traffic. Amanda Price cheering on Sean Rogers. Dylan Banks saying, let's go racing. And Dyson41 with a very decisive, call here pre-race. He thinks it will either be Hill, Rogers, Long, or Pearson.
I mean, that's like, okay. Well, that's like putting your money on black, red, and the 00 at the roulette table.
Well, this is just one of those nights.
Here we are, working lap number 4 of 312. Dylan Banks, currently your leader, as we're getting lined up. Noah's Ark style behind his iRacing.com pace car. Bobby Anderson will be the outside as we go back to green flag racing here on, I would suspect, lap number 6.
Did you hear that? I'm interrupting. At the next caution, we're going to be talking with a very dear friend of mine, whom I love from the bottom of my heart because he represents Cape May, New Jersey, and of course, Wawa lovers everywhere. He knows who he is. He just threw the first stone in race radio in my general direction. And we have waited until championship week to begin the gang war with southeastern Pennsylvania and South Jersey.
Is it kind of like with me, you, and Father Frank, where for 162 games we're not friends?
I'm only not friends with him for 19 games a season.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm only not friends with you for about 6.
There you go.
What just erupted into my ear? He knows how to get himself some free camera time and radio time. As we go back underway, off we go.
That time a much better restart for these drivers of the SN and Stacy Strong Cup Series. As we are working lap number 6, getting ready to come to lap number 7. These laps are going to click off pretty quickly here as we get rocking and rolling the end of the season here in 2024 and rock and rolling our way to 2025. As this is a very short off season. If you think about it, David, it's only 90 days, and then we're back in Daytona.
Yeah, this is not a short, a long off season at all. To be completely honest, I mean, we're off until literally February, and it's already mid-November, or all but mid-November. This is not, let's just say, slow. It's quick.
I mean, think about it. I mean, so here in the dirt world, and if you're a dirt late model racer, you get no off season because you just finished the World Finals. Then you're going to the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and then you're either going to the Wild West Shootout or Volusia Speedway for the Sunshine Nationals. So, I mean, you really don't get an off season at that point. And yes, I'm sporting my Gordy Gundaker shirt tonight. So,
and I'm sure he's so thrilled to have your support.
Hey, look, merch sells.
Merch sells for sure. As we work here on lap number 9, let's get that timing tower up. It's about time. We'll keep an eye here. Those 4 drivers highlighted in Stacy Strong purple, they're going to be your playoff drivers. And right now, Matt Long would be your champion if the race ended now, but we still have, 302 laps to go.
I mean, it's better than 502.
But look at Matt Long here harassing the 70 of Dylan Banks. My God. Neil Pearson and Sean Rogers in tow, and Paul Hill running in 7th position right now as he's going to work his way around Bobby Anderson. Now, Anderson holds onto the high line over top of Paul Hill. That kind of negates Hill's ability to swing all the way out to the wall and try to transfer some of that energy and speed. And now it makes Hill have to short entry turn 1 and now goes wheel to wheel with the 18 here on lap number 11.
Yeah, and here's something that really intrigues me right now is these guys are all but lined up in a big line, and we've seen, today in the real world race that these guys are almost 3 or 4 wide. But right now, there we go. Now we got some drivers going to venture down on that apron. You got to remember, it's not an easy transition to come back up onto the racetrack, so you got to be really mindful about getting onto that racetrack going down that back straightaway.
Jonathan Leach checking into the youtube.com live chat.
I'll let you handle that one.
I did. He'll understand. He'll understand. Jonathan, check that. Obviously, he's auditing tonight. As we work lap number 13 now. Folks, as always, we run stages here in this league. Alex Brinson chiming in with love being taken out before turn 1. Yeah, Alex. I've seen this time and time again, and bad things can happen, and unfortunately, that's the way the season's going to end, and I'm not really pleased for you or for anybody else involved in that first caution. As we work lap number 14. Now, stage 1, that's going to end at lap number 60. Stage 2 going to end at the conclusion of lap 185. Drivers are going to have 9 sets of tires for this event, so they're going to start one and lay 8.
Yeah, as we continue to watch these leaders here, Dylan Banks and Matt Long just really not getting away from Neil Pearson or Sean Rogers. Right back there, though, in 6th position, you got Paul Hill and Tane Hodgson running 5th and 6th. Not really a whole lot of battling going on right now, but, you know. They're going to get even racier.
Yeah, racier than the photos of a 1980s Playboy as we watch Michael Caffrey here in the 54. Now watch where Caffrey is. Now he's working the high side over top of Larry Miles. Now these drivers have a history here in Larry Miles' short time. And it seems like this time Miles going to allow Caffrey to run away for the time being. But all of a sudden, enter Eric Papineau, the 7 machine. Now you've seen him in the 17. And someone wants to know how about them Eagles. Look familiar, Alan?
Looks very familiar. Would that be the resident Eagles fan in the Regal household?
Mm-hmm. You know, I love football. I do. Oh, I do. I love to hate it. Take a look at Eric Papineau here in the 7. Squirrel! As, you know, you have to first off understand that he drives the 17 on a Monday and a Tuesday night. He's come here to the Cup Series. Kind of driving a little bit conservative tonight. Qualified in 20th. And gets one heck of a run on the 54. It almost looked like a checkup that allowed him to get up there. And these drivers are almost single file from the 74 of Chris Davis back to Papineau. So from about 8th back to 15th, single file. Dylan Banks and Matt Long. Do you see this up here?
I mean, so right now, Matt Long and Dylan Banks are matching each other step for step right now. As lap traffic's gonna definitely come into play. So far, 2 cars out, and Noah Hamilton putting it on the hauler, had his 1 meter pegged, and winning the race at the beer stand tonight.
Dylan Banks and Matt Long starting to gap Neil Pearson by 0.6 of a second. Neil Pearson and Sean Rogers separated by about 0.3 of a second. Something tells me that Pearson, Rogers, and Hill have something. They're just letting Matt Long and Dylan Banks run for a little while.
I mean, this is what got him as far as being conservative at the right time and being aggressive at the right time. But here we are at working lap 22 at 312. And you're exactly right, Dave. I can't see these guys being overly aggressive and you know, burning their tires off right away.
You know, that's a lot of what we're going to see from these drivers tonight. You know, are you going to be able to save tires? And some of these drivers are incredible with it. Now, we've seen it with the 18, Bobby Anderson being able to do that. We've seen it with Matt Long, squeezing out every drop of fuel and every shred of rubber from those 4 Mr. Goodyears on the side there. But Dylan Banks right now, he's laying down 28-second laps. He's already started to see that fall off, as best time was 27.72 and right now running at 28.14.
Yeah, here, so right now, the interval back to Neil Pearson is a 0.5 second. There's the eyeball test back to Neil Pearson and Sean Rogers. Now, the thing I'm looking for is whenever these guys start to stand out 2 and 3 wide, tonight, stage points are not on the line. That's over with. So now we just got 2 breaks for these drivers to catch their breath. Because right now we're watching Matt Long and Dylan Banks there running nose and tail. Weird coming out of down that back straightaway. I want to remind everybody that this pavement is starting to age ever since the repave and the reconfiguration. These guys come down the former front stretch, which is now the back stretch.
Yeah, this racetrack, one of the many that's been reconfigured over the years in our sport. 25 laps now, 26 here at the line as we pass the big green cactus. Is that related to the big green tractor? Nobody wrote
Maybe.
a song about the big green cactus.
I mean,
Somebody
who ever
contact
writes a song
Cletus-
about a cactus?
Somebody contact Cletus T. Judd.
I mean, so is two cactus a cactus still, or is it cacti? I don't know. Here comes Matt Long, though. He's starting to get a little antsy there on Dylan Banks. Dylan Banks just, running his race, being patient. But there's the three out of the four drivers vying for a championship tonight. As they're all sorts of too wide back here and back towards the back of the field, right around that 10th, place or 11th place of Mike McConville, Bobby Anderson. There's more action than a Waffle House at 3 a.m.
And side by side, here comes Anderson on the high side of Mikey Mac McConville, who apparently wants to not be my friend anymore. Oh, nearly makes contact. I almost could have just given a big, wet, sloppy kiss to Anderson if he would have taken him out for that one. The worst part is, a little rub of the wall for McConville. Getting a little nervous, are we, Mikey Mac? That'll teach you to talk trash about the Cowboys, who are already garbage. It's like kicking a guy when he's down.
Oh, boy. At Liberty, hard at number 7, Eric Papino looking to the inside of Mike McConville, coming off of turn number 2, down that back straightaway. Doesn't quite have the run. As we got the 98 car of Steve Herring, he's right around there too. There's Steve Herring. He's all out there by his little. I saw a green car.
Just ahead of Keith Long and just behind Chris Claude. Now take a look at Chris Claude here with a Veterans Day paint scheme on the 10. A little 1776 action. Is that USA logo more of like the cigarette brand USA? Not USA
Maybe.
Gold. I mean like the crappy USA, like the kind that are made by R.J. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ew. Back when I was a smoker, if I would have bummed a cigarette off of somebody, they would have handed me USA brand or USA Gold. I'd have been like, you know what, I'll quit. Never mind.
I mean, now you just went to vaping, right?
Even that's out of my system. We're all clean.
Wow.
Like a whole new leaf, buddy. I did have
Well, I
did have a delicious cigar in Miami, and let's talk about that. Now, it wasn't a Cuban cigar as in purchased in whole from Cuba, but it was Cuban tobacco in a Cuban wrapper rolled by a Cuban person in Key West. Delicious.
Okay, did you puff on it mafia style, though? Just Tony Soprano cigar?
What? No, I sat in the morning, covered myself in lotion, and cooked next to the pool. Oh, Larry Miles, one of the first to come down. Oh, never mind, not pit road. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Larry Miles had himself timing there in that number 57 car as he had an incident and, well, he recovered. Now he's back on track. No harm, no foul. I want to give our well wishes, our continued well wishes out to Brian Tarnowski, the sponsor of which this husband of Stacy, which this series is named after, as he is continuing to battle health problems.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Brian here on the racetrack, and, I hope everything is okay. We used to have this running joke where it seemed like we were near each other on the racetrack. In fact, even at the end of the August race at Daytona, at the end of the race, we didn't get a chance to see each other on the track that day, just because we happened to be in different places for a change. But Brian and I, at the very least, made sure that we gave each other a couple of love taps coming back on a pit road. Like, what a guy. And you know what? My heart goes out to him, for everything that he's done for this league and with this league over the last several years that I've been aware of. And I know that if he's paying attention, he knows that, he can pick up the phone and give me a call anytime. And all of a sudden I'll be looking for the nearest or the soonest flight to Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Well, it only took you 3 weeks to get that pronunciation right, but you got it. You got it.
Yeah, Waukesha, Wisconsin. It took me not 3 weeks. It took me 3 years to get it right in this league. I was calling it Waukesha for the longest time, like it was some girl who's working down there here in Norristown on the corner. Waukesha, she $55.
It took you 3 years, and now I'm coming into the booth to pronounce it Waukesha.
Oddly enough, it was Brian that corrected me. Took him
He
3
never
years to
corrected
tell
you?
me. No, it took him 3 years to tell me.
It took me like 30 seconds to tell you.
Well, look at you, the linguistic genius of Alan Bergen.
Oh boy.
Taking a look here at Michael Caffrey as he starts to draw into Eric Papineau. Now, Papineau trying to hold him off with about 4/10 of a second gap, but these drivers have gotten themselves out to a nice green flag run here. Now that that run has extended itself, we of course had the first caution at lap number 2. We haven't had a repeat offender in 37 laps, and this may be a good sign for the rest of the race. I don't want to jinx it, so I feel like if you say I don't want to jinx something, that you sort of remove the jinx.
Sort of. And you jinxed it.
Send your hate mail. Sorry, folks. Cody McCorkle decided that he wanted to make me look like I was a jinx, and he would be right this time. Let's watch McCorkle in the 82, just underneath Ken Ron. Oh! And he takes Ken Ron to the inside wall on the backstretch.
Anybody know a good chiropractor? Because he's going to need one.
Ken Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, representing the 717 here in the beautiful Keystone State. See if we can find Cody McCorkle's hood cam. That's going to trigger probably some wholesale pit stops.
I think Cody McCorkle just did you a favor, though.
He may have. Hey. That's no bueno. Let's see if we can get the vantage point from Ken Ron. Here comes McCorkle. There goes the hit.
I mean, that wasn't as hard of a hit as Tyler Reddick took earlier this afternoon, but
no, Reddick had a rough day. Well, as promised, let's see if we can find the 8 car. Oh, he's in pit road getting himself a little drinky drink here. Bet she's nice and cozy here in the 8. See if we can find him in the chat here, since he wants to start things.
Don't start things you can't finish.
Well, let's see where he is here. He's hiding. There he is.
I got him.
I got him. Sir?
Hello.
Oh. Something humorous, sir?
Oh, did you not hear me earlier?
No, I did, loud and clear. And I heard the worst part is you know that I listen to race radio, so I hear you just taunting me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was just, saying, they look good.
Oh, they looked good? Why? If they looked good
Fantastic.
in a JCPenney catalog in 1995?
Super Bowl champs this year, right?
Yeah,
just go ask Jerry Jones.
Yes, if the race was to the bottom of the basement of the NFC East.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure you could still put 50 on the Giants. So let's not go to the basement.
How's Mama Mac taking the loss? I know that it was a rough day in Big D.
She's all right. She turned it off about halfway through. I was just like, whatever. It's just gonna make me angry. So I'll watch the race and be disappointed at that too.
Yes. Logano did. Oh, I really wanted Tyler to win. I did.
Look, no hate on Joey. This is all NASCAR's fault. The stupid format, them penalizing Bowman after the road course, after the Charlotte Roval, for their own stupidity for making the curbs 8 feet high, so he had some weight fall out of his car, which is clearly shown on McDowell's in-car camera.
Look,
And 14th in points. Yeah, great system we got, NASCAR.
Look, it wouldn't be NASCAR if we didn't have things to argue about. They've been doing it for 75 plus years.
Look, NASCAR is doing one job really great, and that's bringing the community together in shitting on every decision they make.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I know that at the end of the season, everybody, there's going to be some people who lost to the champion. In fact, everybody else did. But at the end of the day, there's always next year. That's what we say in Dallas. There's always next year. Listen, buddy, good luck the rest of the way.
Well, Dallas won't be good until Jerry Jones exits the equation.
Well, he just has to assume room temperature. But listen, my friend, good luck tonight. Go out there and put a good show on. And I love you. I miss you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. We're going to try.
That, of course, the voice of the great Mikey Mac McConville out of South Jersey, who decided he wanted a gang war tonight, as Dylan Banks is going to bring us back to green. Dylan Banks hits the Geico restart zone, gets a great jump over the 32 of Matt Cox, and all of a sudden runs away from the rest of the field. Watch Matt Long and Matt Cox go at it. They're side by side coming down into turn number 1. This is only going to be disastrous if nobody can hold it steady. Watch the 44. Oh, he's dangerously close to the 6. They give each other enough room, and now the 6 goes to squat just below the 32. Bad things are brewing in Phoenix.
Oh, boy. Look, Sean Rogers is right underneath Paul Hill right now. He's trying to make a move, but don't have enough motor.
Let's ride along with Sean Rogers. Good gravy. It's not that he doesn't have enough motor. He doesn't have enough track. If he could get it to stick just a little bit better in turn 4, he'd get a great swing out of 4. He's got to try to get some momentum as he loosens himself up coming through that dog leg on the front stretch. My goodness.
Well, here we are,
fun fact,
second
for whatever
verse,
reason,
same
my
as the first.
hotkey for driver information is not working. It's cute.
Boy, the tandem of Tony Trapasso continues.
He knows.
Here we are, Neil Pearson, the modern-day Silver Fox, looking underneath Sean Rogers for that 5th position. This is a battle that's going to start heating up real good, getting hot and heavy. As we're working on number 48, he's going to try to go to the outside. Thinks better of it. Right now, this first stage has been somewhat uneventful.
Don't jinx it. Remember what just happened to me?
Well, I figure I'd take a shot at it. Come on now.
The only thing you should take a shot at or of is Jack Daniels. That's a medical professional's opinion.
I mean, yeah, but then I feel the need to put Coke with it. I don't drink soda, so.
I don't drink soda. I take it intravenously.
I mean, I live vicariously through the soda drinkers in my house. Working lap 50, 10 laps to go here in stage number 1. Dylan Banks not getting away from Matt Long any quicker, as Matt Long is going to try to go underneath Dylan Banks there in that dog leg and can't quite make that pass. Meanwhile, while those two are battling it out, here comes Mr. Matt Cox. It's the Long and Cox show. Getting ready to happen here. Battling for second. Sean Rogers all the way down to 17th, relegated. Wonder what happened to Sean Rogers. Now 3 out of 4 are.
I'm looking. Something wrong. Looks like John Wilco had himself an incident a moment ago. Let's take a look. Here's Wilco in the 62. Oh! Well, thanks to that huge apron down there. He's able to get himself turned around without any problems.
Did John Wilco really go Christmas theme on his paint scheme for?
Yes.
Oh, good gravy.
That's the pride of McAdoo, Pennsylvania.
Look, I love Christmas as much as the next guy
does.
does.
A short distance away, Honey Buns and I went for a ride up into the mountains of Pennsylvania as I covered the 2024 edition of the Carbon County Veterans Day Parade. You know, because sim racing media extends far beyond the reaches of YouTube and crosses into terrestrial radio, as I was glad to bring all of the action on Magic 105.5 WMGH. You can check out the WMGH app in your app store, whether it's Google Play or Apple.
I have it. I have the app.
I know you and Frank, I think, are the furthest away listeners that we have.
I'm waiting for you to announce that you're going to be on a morning show.
You know, all I need is a partner, and I could make that work. A partner and a salary that means I don't have to work my day job.
Our day job is stressful as it is.
That's why I drink. The doctor said that I should drink moderately, that you shouldn't drink too much, that you should drink moderately. So I bought a case of moderately, and I keep it in the back. You know what I mean?
I love it. Well, you know, I tell people all the time to have the ID10T error.
Yeah. Yes. Dylan Banks leads this race right now here on lap number 57. We're just about at the end of stage number 1. We're getting here to the end of lap number 60. All of a sudden, things are getting a little bit heated here. It's going to be about 20 laps on these tires. The question's going to be whether or not some of these drivers stay out, and we may see a couple try to do that and flip the stage. But, you know, you've got to remember that stage 2 doesn't end until the end of 185. I mean, that's a long stage 2. I think that's the longest stage 2 that we have in the season.
Yeah, as we are coming down to the final stage 1, lap 58, and we're going to end the stage on lap number 60. And right now, it's been all Dylan Banks, Matt Long, and Matt Cox since the drop of his green flag. Dylan Banks is looking to play spoiler. Right now, if the race would end, Matt Long would be your champion here in the Stacy Strong SNN Cup Series.
Well, the question's going to be who's got it and who can get it done. And I know that we've got a lot of these drivers that are more than capable of getting it done. I mean, let's not fool ourselves. But the question truly becomes whether or not, you know, they're going to put everything they have. You know, you don't want to get to the end of the race and say, I wish I could have done more. But here's Matt Long coming into turns 1 and 2, going down the back chute here on the final lap of stage number 1. And it looks like, at least the way that it's going right now, it's going to be Dylan Banks, Matt Long, Matt Cox, Paul Hill, and Neil Pearson, your top 5.
Yeah, and coming out of turn number 4, turn number 4. Track awareness.
There it is. That's the end of stage number 1. Dylan Banks brings home the green and white checkered flag. He'll be followed by Matt Long, Matt Cox, Paul Hill, Neil Pearson, Tane Hodison, Chris Davis, Bobby Anderson, Tanner Marty, and Mikey Mac McConville in the number 8 Bud Chevrolet. I do like that paint scheme. I just do not like that beer. But, you know, as promised, I do want to remind everybody that I did fulfill that season-long bet finally and drank a Budweiser, and I don't know how you drink that swill.
I gotta get a hold of our chief cook and bottle washer, John Leach. Because my wife goes, if she doesn't see the video, it never happened.
John has it. John has the video proof. But here we are coming down pit road. Let's go on board with Dylan Banks. Sure, John Leach was paying attention until I asked if I even wanted the job. See if we can find Dylan here.
That's the new running joke at SRM now.
I don't see Dylan Banks in the chat. But here we are getting 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast in the 70 for Dylan Banks. Dylan, if you're listening, go ahead and hop on down here to the waiting room. If not, we're going to have to go on to somebody else, and that somebody is going to be Matt Long if I can find him. Let's see if we can find Matt Long. There he is. Matt Long, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Buddy, listen, I'm good, but you've got to be down there maybe sitting on some pins and needles. Here it is, championship week. You're one of those 4 special drivers. What's going to be the strategy now that stage 1's over? You know how this racetrack is handling. What are you feeling going into stage 2?
Yeah, I just think track position is going to be key here. Just staying in front of the other guys. It's really hard to pass. So if I can do that and just not make any mistakes, I think we got the car to get this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've kept pretty close ties here with Dylan Banks. Now, are we just toying with Dylan Banks, or is this, is Dylan really out driving you? Because quite frankly, you were my pick tonight.
No, he's really good. I was trying to get in front of him, trying to get clean air, and I couldn't get by him. So he's gonna be tough to deal with today, for sure.
Well, before the race, we put it out there in the YouTube.com live chat to see who it was going to be, who everybody's picks were for tonight's championship. And Alan Bergen decided to, basically poop on your front porch and said he's going to go with the 44, who promptly bit the dust. And now Sean runs back in 12th. You, sir, are my pick, so go out and make me look like I know what I'm talking about for a change.
All right, I got you, man.
All right, brother man, bring one home to Atlanta. Good luck.
All right, thanks. Y'all have a good night.
All right, Matt, let's see, you were up here in Dirty South. We'll get him back on up there, Dirty South Racing. Of course, he's racing against his teammate for a championship. Richard Pruitt deciding not to come down pit road. Remember I said somebody was going to do it? Richard Pruitt may be trying to be in search for the Alan Bergen bonehead move of the race.
There we go. Yes, I like that. Alan Bergen bonehead move of the race. One lucky driver will be deemed the bonehead of the race. And, well, we're going to have to come up with a prize next year for that.
Just a giant bone.
Like a dog bone, right?
Yes. No, a dinosaur bone.
Hey, look, we're going to have to flat rate ship that thing because, well,
Just remember, if it fits, it ships.
That's why we flat rate box.
Richard Pruitt going to lead us down here into turns 3 and 4. He's going to pass the O'Reilly Auto banners, hit the Geico restart zone, drop the hammer, and off he goes. No tire slip for the 24 as stage 2 gets underway. Oh, this is horrifying. 2 playoff drivers have now surrounded him as if they're bullies in a high school bathroom.
Well, Dylan Banks, once again, doing Dylan Banks things. Here comes Matt Long right there on the inside of the 24 car.
Matty Long throwing it underneath the 24, scooting by, and now sets his sight on Dylan Banks again. Now, I still would like to, at least in my heart, believe that Matt Long is, he's got something saved, that he's just kind of letting Dylan run around up here. But, according to Matt, Dylan's a real strong driver tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there he is. I mean, doing Dylan Banks type things as right now, Tane Hodgson. See what happened here.
The 93 comes into the dog leg. Oh!
Oh!
And
The
gets
slide for
punted.
life.
Hey.
You can't park there.
No, sir. As he gets himself going again, we don't get the caution flag because he did that down on the apron. That's kind of the nice thing about this racetrack in the large out-of-bounds area.
Neil Pearson finds himself running third with with Paul Hill running in that 4th position. These top 4, Sean Rogers working his way back and broke the top 10 now. according to live timing and scoring.
Dylan Banks, Matt Long, Neil Pearson, Paul Hill, Tanner Marty. That's your running top 5. And we take a look here at Tanner Marty. We're going to go on board with him. And I was going to pull up his driver info. I have to do that manually because, of course, something is wrong with that button. Maybe it's just the button. Maybe I finally killed it after an entire season.
Tanner Marty out of Duval, Washington. Currently running in that 6th position, just ahead of him is Paul Hill in that number 6 car. You know, and this racing surface, Dave, is aging like a fine wine. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get racing. Whoa! Hello, who was that? Was that Tane Hodgson again?
Whoever it was is not very happy. We're going to go right here to Tanner Marty. Let's watch the 29 and see where the smoke came from. May have been Ken Ron. That may be what it is here.
And Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania.
Ken's not a happy camper. Let's go ahead back here and run this on the replay. And it sounds like it may have been Tane. Let's go back to the live stream and check this out. Here's Ken Ron. Let's watch Tane Hodgson behind. What?
Oh!
You know what? It almost looked like Tane may have had himself some kind of a hardware failure. Because he just went straight into the wall.
He did. It's what Ty Gibbs' accent looks like a lot too today.
Looking for Tane Hodgson here. Because he cannot be happy.
Well, as Dave Riegel's famous words, he's madder than a Keebler elf getting demoted to fudge packer.
Madder than a Keebler elf getting demoted to fudge packer is Tane Hodgson, that's for sure. As Alan keeping me honest here, let's see if we can just get this lined up as I'm going to go right to the, let's see if we can go right to the cockpit cam as he did have his helmet cam running. Now we can see Ron. I'm waiting to see what this, no. He got way tight. Oy, it was such a shunda. Well, let's take a step aside here and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media as we're under caution number 4, third one for cause tonight with Dylan Banks, your race leader. He's followed by Matt Long, Neil Pearson, Paul Hill, Tanner Marty, Michael Wick, Chris Davis, Sean Rogers, Matt Cox, and Eric Papano. That's your top 10. I'm Dave Riegel, he's Alan Bergen, and this is Sunday Night NASCAR Championship Edition.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on. the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Dude, I come to Miami. We're
Welcome
making
back.
this shit.
Welcome back here to Phoenix Raceway, as there it goes. 87 laps in the books now, less than 100 to go here in stage number 2, while Dylan Banks continues his domination of championship week here in the Stacy Strong Cup Series. Neil Pearson and Matt Long in tow, trying to get them there. Oh, just kidding. Neil Pearson and Matt Long in tow, trying to get up here to Dylan Banks, and as he looks out the rearview mirror, this is all he can see right now. Just a rearview mirror full of Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. It's been an exciting night so far here, and of course, this is just the first of our championship races in the SNN Family of Racing Series. Tonight, of course, we have the SNN Cup Series, which, is our premier series here in prime time on a Sunday night. Tomorrow night, you'll have Alan Bergen on the call with you, bringing you all the MNN action, while yours truly is going to be down at the Wells Fargo Center, watching, hopefully, the Philadelphia Flyers bring home a win against the San Jose Sharks. And Tuesday night, I will be back at the microphone, ready to roll, and bringing you our finale for the SNN Family of Racing Series as the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series heads here to Phoenix as well. So it's a busy night and a busy week here at Sim Racing Media for you and I, Alan.
Yeah, I cannot wait until tomorrow night. We're going to crown one more champion. Tuesday night, you're going to crown your final champion. And Thursday, I cannot wait. We're going to be at Auto Club for Racers Elite. But Saturday night is the night I'm looking forward to, Dave, as I'm going to introduce you to the world of dirt racing here on Sim Racing Media. Check us out as the Dirt Mafia Motorsports League brings us. We bring you the Dirt Mafia Motorsports first annual Thanksgiving Thunder, featuring the Dirt main stocks and the Dirt Pro late models.
Yeah, can't wait to see that on Saturday night. Of course, live here on Sim Racing Media. You can check us out on YouTube.com. Chris Davis right now trying to hold off the 54 of Michael Caffrey while he chases down the 88 of Michael Witt. And Michael Witt here, as we look from the rear view, trying to get himself up here. You know what? This is going to drive me absolutely batty. I've got to fix this. Got to fix the Stream Deck business. It's starting to make me mad. Not too mad, just enough.
Just enough, man? Like getting ejected in the third inning, mad, or
like the Cowboys losing 34-6, mad.
Well, hey, while your Dallas Cowboys lost, our Kansas City Chiefs improved to 9-0. Team Tay all the way.
Still has nothing to do with that button, so I'm glad I wasted my time with that.
Right now, we're on board with Michael Witt as he is looking back at Chris Davis in that 74 car. Chris Davis doing Chris Davis things. He's riding back there in ninth position, knocking on Michael Witt's door. There he goes. Right now, Dylan Banks holding off Matt Long. But not only that, but he's going to bring Sean Rogers with him. You know, this league has been, this season has been covered and goers. I don't get too worried about when Sean Rogers dips down to the bottom of the barrel, driving out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, currently running in that third position. Now, here's how this is going to work. Sean Rogers has to essentially win out this race here today. Either that or hope the other three competitors have a really bad third stage.
Yeah, on board with Sean Rogers as he's trying to draw himself closer to Matt Long. All four of our Championship 4 drivers are here just outside that lead spot as Long, Rogers, Pearson, and Hill all run 2, 3, 4, and 5, while Dylan Banks leads this piece here on lap number 98 as we're working our way toward lap 185. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, making us a part of your evening as it's championship night here in the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. And, you know, it was, of course, I know a lot of people out there, maybe not necessarily a big fan of Joey Logano, myself included. He just seems like a sniveling little rat. But, you know, Joey Logano still pulling off the three-peat win here, getting himself his third Cup Series championship. And, you know, we were talking about it while we were down in Miami a couple of weeks ago, and it seems like folks a little bit confused because I think I was one of the few people, if not the only person in our group from Sim Racing Media to realize that and to understand and try to convey that NASCAR does not have a Cup Series sponsor, that it is self-sponsored essentially, and I'm assuming that a lot of that money comes from the charter system.
It does. It does. And look, sponsorship, especially, they make the world go round, right? It's so hard to get a sponsor these days. So we're under our 6th caution for the day. And it looks like it's going to be sponsored by Steve Herring. And that number 98 car.
98. Steve Herring all by his lonesome, just fishtails coming out of 4, and just took the outside wall right to the face. Now Steve has to get himself turned back around. Slows himself. Easy there, fella. As he may have broken the toe link, and he may have to get the road crew to come get him. But here they come. Wholesale pit stops getting ready to be underway. Let's see if we can get a hold of Sean Rockin' Rogers in the double four. Of course, he being so named by my former work wife, Matt Metler, who has decided to move on to different things. I certainly won't say bigger and better, because there's nothing bigger and better than being the voice of Sunday Night NASCAR, at least for my money.
Yeah, you know, what I wish Matt well on Sunday nights is kind of hoping he would finish out the season, but nonetheless, he's got other obligations as well, and you know, we'll be back stronger than ever.
And here he is with us now as Sean Rogers runs himself off of pit road in P4. Looks like he's going to go just behind Neil Pearson. Hey, Sean, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. How you doing?
Buddy, listen, I mean, here we are in championship week, and you're running right now in fourth position. You've got to get yourself around Pearson and Long. What's going to be the strategy now, you know, midway through stage 2 and working our way toward that checkered flag?
I just want to stay patient. You know, try to, you know, can't get wrecked. I already had a little incident early in the race, but we came back from that. It's just all about being patient, taking care of your stuff, and you know, taking the opportunity when it presents itself.
Yeah, this sport is a lot about opportunities. I mean, you know, some people try to force that, and a lot of times it kind of looks like a quarterback who's trying to force that ball in, you know, into triple coverage. Now, tonight, you've got to get yourself around some of the, you know, 3 of the best drivers aside from yourself in this league. I mean, you know, do you see some of these opportunities beginning to show their heads, or do you think this is something you're going to have to capitalize in stage 3?
I mean, like you mentioned, all 3 of the other drivers are really good. I think all 4 of us are pretty good here. As you can tell, we've been pretty much right on each other. I don't see where Paul went, but anyways, yeah, we've been right near each other this whole race. Yeah, I think there's some opportunities. I think I can get by. I think I get by both of the guys in front of me right now. If I can start really working that top line, it's really starting to come in a little bit for me. I was using it there in that last run, so hopefully that continues to develop. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't got to do it here. Winning the stage means nothing. It's all about that last lap. So it's just kind of biding your time and making sure you still have a car by the time that checkered flag flies.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, it's been an incredible season. It's been so much fun to watch you all year long. My hope is that, of course, you go ahead and bring one home. I know that Alan picked you as his winner tonight. I got to be honest with you. I went with Matt Long, but maybe you can make a liar out of me and bring one home tonight to Kalamazoo.
That's the plan, man. I appreciate it, Alan. Way to stay true. And Dave, you just fell a little bit in my personal record books.
So we will not be drafting partners next year at Daytona.
No, absolutely not.
All right, buddy. Listen, good luck the rest of the way. And listen, we appreciate Amanda as well being in the chat every week. So good luck, man, and see what happens here when we go back green.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That the voice of Sean Rockin' Rogers, of course, so named by the great Matt Metler. And if you haven't gotten a chance yet, did you see Matt's review of the new chicken Big Mac?
I did not.
It is worth the look over on Facebook. Go ahead and check that out.
Will do, but right now we're going to check out this restart here on lap 105 as Dylan Banks out front doing Dylan Banks type things. Almost doing the Carlton dance.
As he works himself there, tire's going to have to come back up to temperature. The question out of Sean Rogers was, where is Paul Hill? And there he is working his way through traffic here on lap 105, all the way back in 14th, now 13th. And he's on a recovery drive from Lord only knows what. But Paul Hill in just a rocket ship of a Dent Slayer Ford Mustang, now just strapping a hairnet on and serving lunch right to Bobby Anderson as they make their way through. Mike McConville was just down on pit road. Let's see what happened, or if this was just, nope, Mike McConville was on a drive-through.
Speeding penalty?
Wait and see. McConville, oh, and then he overdrives the pit box, and there he is serving his penalty. So Mike McConville, maybe karma came. Whoa! Neil Pearson sideways.
Not what Neil Pearson wanted here. As he sits in the middle of the track, gets it spun back around. We are under our 7th caution.
Let's see what happened with Neil Pearson. There's the 32 of Matt Cox just behind him. And,
oh no.
Oh, a double tap. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that puts Pearson back to 17th now. He's going to have a lot of traffic to drive through.
Matt Cox just brought out the Tasmanian Devil.
You know what, though? As a good sportsman does, Matt Cox immediately on race radio apologizing, knowing that, he definitely didn't mean to do that. Pearson going to come down pit road and get some quick service here. Get a quick look at the 58, and we'll see what happened with him. Hopefully just a little bit of cosmetic damage, but once you really get into that diffuser on the rear of these cars, that can really screw up your handling.
I don't see anything wrong with that car right now, Dave. I mean, it looks like it's just barely just a little bit of a love tap.
We're looking around this for him because nobody wants to be that guy. It may have just been a love tap, as you had mentioned. Let's quick see here. He's going to get 4 tires, and doesn't look like any real damage here to the Camaro. So maybe clear. Doesn't get any better than that. As
Still
he
met a
gets
Matt
back
Cox,
underway. Cox just whacking him from behind, and not really on purpose at all. And in Matt Cox's defense, he's not that kind of a driver. So, folks, if you're out there and you're a Pearson fan, just know that there's no way that was intentional.
Just a byproduct of good hard racing there, and look, this race is far from over. We're only on lap 109. Still a lot of time for Neil Pearson to come up from the front of the field. We're under caution for the 7th time, working lap 110 under yellow. Dylan Banks out front still with Matt Long and Sean Rockin' Rogers. Matt Cox is at 32 car. Residing in that 4th position. Residing in that 5th position right now is Tanner Marty out of Duval, Washington. Right now, Neil Pearson being scored in 16th position. 6 spots out of the top 10. Paul Hill, he resides in 10th so far. So right now, if we were to do live points, Neil Pearson would be the worst of the running playoff drivers. We're going to get ready to get lined up 2 by 2. Noah's Ark style behind that iRacing.com pace car. And, the lights go out on the pace car. The lights will go out around the racetrack. Barney getting set with a green flag in hand. Nolan Hodgson says NASCAR has what's called supporting sponsors, which means if there's no title sponsor, but they still are sponsored by Geico, Coca-Cola, Busch, Coca-Cola, and Xfinity, among other partners.
The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road as Dylan Banks going to be left to his own devices. And, we've talked about that multiple times this evening. And, what we have going on, quite frankly, is, it's a long time from the entry to pit road and then around back to the restart zone.
That's a long time for these guys. But Sean Rockin' Rogers is getting ready as Matt Long is going to stack up the outside line on the restart. That's going to allow Sean Rogers to get that 2nd position. They are drag racing into turn number 1 and 2 and down the back straight away, doing it John Ford style. And that's going to bode well for Dylan Banks.
They slide in single file, and now all of a sudden we see Eric Papineau here in the Liberty.Live Church Chevrolet Camaro just to the inside of Chris Davis. Check him out in his number 74 Toyota Camry. He's going to go side by side and now tucks himself in single file behind Tanner Marty in the 29.
That 54 car is going to skirt the wall. That would be Caffrey. He's going to skirt the wall. Not once, but twice. Here comes Chris Davis in that 74 car. Wow, where did Caffrey get that run at, though? Here comes Matt Long looking to make a move. He's going to try to take Sean Rocket Rogers with him. He can only get to the quarter panel. As they come down out of turns 1 and 2, we're high above in the blip here. We're in the chopper. Sean Rocket Rogers looking to the outside of Matt Long. He's going to think better of it.
The 97 drawing in, he has to back off, and all of a sudden he's going to bring along the 44 of Sean Rogers out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Amanda Price on the YouTube.com live chat cheering him on as they go Banks, Long, Rogers, Cox, and Marty. That's your top 5 as we work lap 115, 70 to go in stage number 2.
70 to go, and right now Matt Long is wearing out Dylan Banks, trying to put him on the ropes here and maybe get a win here in stage number 2. Points aren't going to matter here tonight. It's going to be who finishes in front of who. As Matt Long is all over the back bumper of Dylan Banks. Sean Rogers is going to back off just a little bit. Here comes Matt Cox trying to get into the mix. They're running 4th right now. As Dylan Banks, Chris Davis is going to try to look underneath Tanner Marty and maybe look to his outside, as this is going to be a battle for that 5th position. Chris Davis trying to crack the top 5. He's looking to the inside of Tanner Marty. Is he going to get it?
He's going to get it now, as now they're wheel-to-wheel coming out of turn number 2 and down the back chute. And all of a sudden, Chris Davis securing away 5th position from Tanner Marty. So now it goes Banks, Long, Rogers, Cox, and Davis. Matt Long and Sean Rogers, your 2 highest Championship 4 drivers. Paul Hill running in 8th position. And, of course, as we know, Neil Pearson back in 12th after that unfortunate incident with the 32 of Matt Cox. And, you know, we see this all the time and all season long. These drivers, you know, trying to get themselves into a position to be as successful as they can be. And even as they go rocking down the backstretch, I mean, nobody's giving anybody a whole lot of space. These drivers are out here knowing that this is all that they have left for the season.
Yeah, I mean, tonight it's all about records or checkers. I want the steering wheel or the trophy or the checkered flag. But here comes Sean Rocket Rogers looking to the inside or to the outside of Matt Long, thinking better of it. As these guys float these cars out to the wall, they're, you know, the one thing that Sean's got to be thinking is, what can I do to get in Matt Long's head? If I can't get him legitimately, maybe I can get him to make an error, make a move that he's not normally known to make.
Matt Long swings himself Matt Long swinging himself all the way down to the inside of the dog leg, trying to get himself enough momentum to swing out and around the 70. He doesn't have it here on lap 120. He's got about 65 to go here in stage number 2. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Mike McConville must be having some kind of a problem because he just jumped to the pits. And I don't know what's going on with Mikey Mack. He had a penalty earlier. Now he rubs the wall, and he has got to be angry.
Arma.
I think all he can see right now is red.
I mean, that's fair. His hood's got some red on it. He shouldn't have to talk smack on the Cowboys. Nonetheless, back at the front of the field, here is Matt Long, still trying to make that all-important move. Sean Rogers got to go somewhere. He's getting those runs, but essentially have those runs killed by Matt Long. As he's got to think about doing something they normally wouldn't do, and that's use that front bumper.
123 laps in the books here at the line as we dive down back into turn number 1. It's going to be a long night. My goodness. I can't believe this. Dylan Banks still leading this race. 2 strong Championship 4 drivers as Nolan Hodgson here educating the fans in the YouTube.com live chat. Appreciate that, sir.
Here we go. We're going to almost go through
Oh, I thought we were going to have a three-way battle for the lead all of a sudden.
I mean, this is the talent level of this field right now of Dylan Banks and the patience exercised by Matt Long and Sean Rockin' Rogers to just, I mean, look, there's been a number of opportunities for Matt Long to just, you know, put the bumper to Dylan Banks and just move him out of the way. Right now, you got to wonder when Matt Long's patience will run its course and run thin. Is right now he's trying to hold off Sean Rogers, and Dylan Banks trying to hold off Rogers and Long and even Cox.
You know, to Nolan Hodgson's point, you know, all of a sudden, championship weekend suddenly turns into whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter.
Yeah, the points definitely do not matter here.
But right now,
it's
as they run, it goes Long, Rogers, Hill, and Pearson. Hill right now on his recovery drive up into 6th position. He's still ready to, you know, save some here for the end, as many of these drivers, you know, plenty of tires to get to the end here in the Cup Series. Now, the next two series, of course, the Xfinity and the Truck Series, they're only going to have 4 sets of tires each for their races. So it turns into a little bit more of a war of attrition as we get through this. And Dylan Banks has just been lights out dominant.
I mean, this is his style of track. He's real smooth on the gas, real smooth on the, you know, coming off the corners. Here comes Matt Long. He keeps daring, and I mean, could that be a psych move to get maybe Sean Rogers to go a little bit lower and lose all that momentum?
I mean, it could be, as now Sean Rogers almost looked to the outside of the 97. Who is that with a connection issue? That's Matt Cox.
Here comes Sean Rockin' Rogers, though. He's to the inside of Matt Long. I think he might have just taken the bait. Matt Cox in that number 32 car. The smooth operator on the side of it. Affectionately naming himself after the smooth operator Bobby Pierce, who had fell short in the World of Outlaws late model championship last night after suffering a flat tire 20 laps into that A main, Dave. And that was a heartbreak city race for Bobby Pierce.
Yeah, you know, I read a little bit about that, and I'm curious how that works.
So, the way the Outlaw points are structured is every point matters at an event like this, like the World Finals, right? So, the way the points are distributed is it's 4 points through the top. First, so basically, the way it had to happen last night for Pierce to win the championship was Brandon Sheppard had to finish 13th or worse, and Bobby Pierce had to finish 11 spots ahead of Brandon Sheppard. So if Brandon Sheppard finishes 11th and Bobby Pierce wins it, it goes to the tiebreaker. Now, Brandon Sheppard had only won 3 Outlaw features the whole season, while Bobby Pierce was winning the USA Nationals. He won the Sunshine Nationals in Volusia. He won at Volusia in February. He won the USA Nationals. And, so basically the tiebreaker went to Pierce because he has more wins. But because Pierce got a flat tire, he had to go to the hot pit, got relegated, he could never recover.
Now, did the little Geico Gecko come out going, "Oh no, I have a flat tire"?
Unfortunately, he did not.
See, now that probably would have made it all better. As we crank up the electronic pain-killing device here.
And here's the thing too, is those dirt tires. You would think, oh, they're just running on dirt. I've seen those dirt tires, the Hoosier national late model tires. At the end of 50 laps, they will look like an asphalt racing slick.
Really?
Yes.
See, and these are the things that I'm curious that I can't wait to explore with you as we get ready to go dirt track racing here on Sim Racing Media. Jeremy Morrow saying, let's go, Logano. Classiest driver ever. Okay. I just don't like him. And that's just me. I just simply don't like him.
Yeah, so as you know, we get ready to gear for 2025, Sim Racing Media will continue into the real world racing scene. As you know, Dave, we're gonna try to set up the. We want to do a watch party when Dale Jr. goes to Florence for Florence 400.
That's gonna be
and
so
brings
exciting.
back the Budweiser 8 car. Be on the lookout because we will more than likely be live, giving our live commentary on that one.
You know,
and our opinions like they matter.
They do matter. And here's the thing. I think that for the sport, and it's something that I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. probably does better than anybody else in our sport, where he makes sure to listen to the fans. He knows what we want. He knows that 8 car means so much to people like you and myself who grew up watching the 8 car and, wow, swinging out like crazy. Here's Matt Long in the 97. Speaking of knowing what the fans want, all of a sudden Matt Long knows that this may be the opportunity that he's been waiting for to get around the 70, but he thinks better of it. He's still trying to peak and maybe poke underneath the 70 a little bit earlier. He's going to have the 44 in tow. He's got a little bit of help from Sean Rogers, who now dislodges from the rear bumper of the 97 and lets him out there to try to battle it out on his own. That's Sean Rogers literally trying to use up the 97.
And, so that's the psyche. So Matt Long knows that he's there, right? He knows that he's there. He knows Sean Rogers is trying to get Matt Long off his line. And Matt Long is got to be smoother or just as smooth as Dylan Banks. As one little slip up and Sean Rogers is right there. Now Sean Rogers could have backed off and maybe, not to where he cooks off the tires like a steak at a cookout, but as you see, Sean Rogers is right back on going to work on Matt Long as Matt Long is going to work on Dylan Banks.
Dylan Banks has 3 wins on the season. Now, he won last week at Martinsville in what I can only assume to be a miracle. He also won both races in the All-Star race back in May at North Wilkesboro. It's going to be an interesting thing when you realize that you're a non-playoff driver and you're stealing from the playoff drivers.
It almost reminded me when Dylan Banks won at the All-Star race. It's kind of like Mike Skinner, when Mike Skinner could win all the pretty much an exhibition race, but never a non-points paying race.
Well, and right now behind him, he's got Matt Long. Now, Matt Long, of course, has 4 wins on the season. He won at Vegas a couple of weeks ago. He won at the Chicago Street Course after just 90 minutes of having the track downloaded. No side drafting there. He won at Iowa and he won at Charlotte's Oval. So, Matt Long knows how to boogie around a racetrack like this when you can see that he's already notched off Las Vegas. And, of course, Sean Rogers, who we've seen all season long as we just kind of rocked through a couple of these stats, that Sean Rogers, again, with just 2 wins on the season, and he worked his tail off all year long to get those 2 wins. He won at Daytona, on the 15th. That's a non-points paying race. But then, of course, he also picked up the win. Let me see here. Now I can't find it. He won at Daytona. That's all I can find.
Well, here comes Matt Long trying to... Oh, he almost had too good of a run. Had to back off. Dylan Banks has been killing Matt Long's runs coming into the corners, especially in turns 1 and 2, all night long.
all night long.
Now, here's the thing from Sean Rogers. Sean Rogers says, okay, I got to be aggressive. But if something happens, I don't want to be caught up in it. Because right now, I feel like Sean Rogers is in the catbird seat.
He is. And, you know, Sean Rogers probably in the best position right now to win this race. He's saving. I know he's got to be saving something. Because this is not Sean Rogers, you know, out here being aggressive. He's just kind of a lion waiting in the weeds of the Serengeti. Neil Pearson, on the other hand, unlike our other two playoff drivers, he's got 7 wins on the season. This man knows how to get it done. Now, he picked up the win at Michigan. He also picked up the win at Bristol Motor Speedway. He is not inexperienced when it comes to finishing on the top of the podium.
Whoa, that was close.
Oh, my.
Alex Princeton on the outside gets out of the way for the leaders. Allows him to go by. He's got no chance. Alex Princeton is 40 laps down. Soon to be 41 laps down as soon as they cross the start-finish line. Almost disaster. And I wonder if Matt Long, because lap traffic will come into play at some point. Here comes Matt Long trying to get that run down through the dogleg, cutting that dogleg in half. And there it is, high above the Phoenix Raceway as you're looking at the camper lot there. One of the few tracks where the campers are all on the outside of the racetrack, not on the inside of the racetrack.
That's true. Oh, my.
You know,
Matt Long started to get that run on entry.
I would love to go sit up on Rattlesnake Hill.
Ugh. I think Phoenix would just be an interesting experience overall. I mean, especially, you know, having been to where I've already seen races in person, and I just feel like this would be an interesting experience. I just personally can't bring myself to go all the way to Phoenix.
It would be a 4-hour flight for you.
Oh,
Possibly
the time doesn't
8.
matter. I mean, the flight time doesn't matter. It's not like I have to walk to Phoenix. Matt Long has suddenly started to reel in the 70, and it's like he's keeping him just within his clutches. We see a little bit back further here in the pile. Michael Witt just behind Bobby Anderson. This is a battle for 12th position, and you may not think it's that important, but this is bragging rights on the line, folks. I mean, you know, we're here. We're in championship weekend. We're in that format where points don't matter. Everything is out the window. The only thing that does matter is who finishes first and who the highest finishing playoff driver is. And right now, it would be Matt Long if the race ended here on lap 151, but we're just about at halfway as we get to 156 in a little bit here.
156 is the stage 1 or stage 2 ending, and I got a feeling that once we cross that line and stage 3 begins, well, guess what? All patients are going to be cranked up to 11, and we're going to lose it.
Dylan Banks, Matt Long, Sean Rogers, Matt Cox, and Paul Hill. That's your top 5. And we can see Paul Hill on his recovery drive making it up to 5th position. And so far, Neil Pearson, after that incident with Matt Cox that brought out a caution flag, he's now back up into 7th position and runs right now behind Chris Davis in the 74. You almost have to wonder, and me personally as a driver, because I was usually trash, if not worse, you know, I would have gotten out of the way, but a lot of these drivers still out here, you know, battling it out for bragging rights.
I mean, a lot of these guys still have something to race for. As even though Neil Pearson here, he's going under Chris Davis. Side by side, and, well, there you have it. There's the eyeball test. So all 4 drivers still within striking distance of each other. One car separates all 4 of those drivers. That's the smooth operator Matt Cox in that number 32 car.
So far, so good for Neil Pearson as now he lines up behind Paul Hill. And Paul Hill, of course, a fellow playoff driver. They're just behind Matt Cox, who runs here in the 32. We look out the rear bumper. He can see Hill and Pearson. And they're getting closer, but they're taking their sweet time as we get ready to cross the line here on lap 156.
And the 10th car in line should trip the stage. There's a caution. Right now, there's the 73 car, multiple laps down. 34 laps down to be exact.
That's Bryson Alexander respectfully getting out of the way. And you know, at this stage in the race, it may just be time for him to move out of the way and try to let some of these other drivers do what they have to do, especially when you're dancing around with those playoff drivers.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for him to be in the way. He's got some damage. He knows he's slower than the rest of the cars. And, I mean, you just got to be out of the way. I mean, you could be a rolling roadblock in a hurry. Trust me, I've been there. I've been the rolling roadblock.
Yeah, I've watched you do it.
And I've gotten moved out of the way.
Yes, sometimes against your will.
Sometimes you take it as a hint.
You know, I just took a peek here at Sunday Night Football over on NBC, our good friends over there. And first of all, the Lions offense is putting up 14.9 points per game in the second quarter. And second of all, and maybe more importantly, I really like the Houston uniforms tonight. This is like the red blood cells against the white blood cells back in the Magic School Bus days. Remember that? Ralphie got sick and had to stay home.
I remember that.
And now you know how cough medicine works?
Yes.
I know I should have stayed home today.
That was my, so here in St. Louis, the local PBS station was Channel 9. And trust me, I never bought into the second level of donating. But it was always those shows on Channel 9 that helped you get through a sick day after staying home from school. Or your local PBS station.
Yep, Magic School Bus was quality entertainment.
I mean, it was better.
Speaking of quality entertainment, Dylan Banks just found another gear here in the 70 and extended his lead over Matt Long to 0.6 of a second and then some.
Well, here's the interesting thing, too, and this is what I like to watch on these short tracks especially, and that's the lap traffic. Dylan Banks is going to catch lap traffic before the stage ends. And the question is do they move out of the way, or does he maybe have a hard time getting around some of those guys? Because that will allow Matt Long and Sean Rock and Rogers to catch up. I mean, it's only one car.
Yeah, but that's an important car to get around.
Right now, Neil Pearson Jr. up to 4th. I act like he's a junior. Neil Pearson gets around the smooth operator of Matt Cox and that 32 car. And that was for 4th position.
Just had to move the old 10s unit. Thought that it was going to try to shock my knee off my leg.
Ugh.
Love it.
Did you get off a Temu?
No, I got it from Rite Aid.
Oh, okay. Folks, don't forget right now is open enrollment season for your health insurance. So if you want health insurance in 2025, don't forget to make those elections.
I don't think we should say the word elections on the air.
Well, okay.
Just saying. Some people are a little butthurt right now.
I mean,
Oy.
do you have the butthurt game?
Well.
Oh, by the way, if we go, like, when the SRM trip commences in Miami, we will be playing that one while we're down there. Just saying. Just saying. You can hear him play the butthurt game on 105.7, on 105.7 The Point, in the Rizzuto Show, that airs here in St. Louis from 6 to 10 a.m. You get to do shameless radio plugs.
The Detroit Tigers just draw within 3 points of the Houston Texans. Very interesting down there.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Lions.
Tigers, and Bears.
Oh my.
Oh my. Here we are.
Banks, Pearson, and Long. Oh my.
We're less than 20 to go in stage 2. This has been a great stage for these drivers.
I mean, out of 35 weeks, this has been the cleanest stage of them all.
At least over the last couple of weeks here.
Dylan Banks coming off of turn number 3 and 4, crossing the stripe one more time. Here in state, ooh, he's gonna catch a little bit of the wall. Now he's got more lap traffic coming up here, and he's got more than just one car to deal with. I believe up next would be Tanner Marty. We'll be getting lapped next. Maybe.
Dylan Banks leads this race here, the Stacy Strong Cup Series, live on Sim Racing Media. We're on lap 169, working our way toward lap 185. Dylan Banks just ahead of Neil Pearson, Matt Long, Sean Rogers, and Matt Cox. That's your top 5. But Dylan Banks has now extended his lead to nearly a full second.
Yeah, he's getting ready to put Alex Princeton 41 laps down. What's Alex Princeton going to do as he sees Dylan Banks? He's going to wisely, well, thought he was going to get out of the way. Dylan Banks got to do something with Alex Princeton. Alex Princeton more likely on the race radio saying, I'm here. John Wilco, the next car in line to get put another lap down, and that'll take John Wilco to 2 laps down. As oh, here we go again.
It's going to be an interesting finish to stage number 2 as Dylan Banks has now all of a sudden watched it. Neil Pearson has crawled up here and now is within 0.7 of a second.
And that's what that lap traffic does. It slows up the leader and allows drivers like Neil Pearson and Matt Long to catch up. Don Rockin' Rogers stalls out of the top 5. I mean, what a performance by Dylan Banks right now.
Dylan Banks has just been driving out of his mind. I mean, and he's in a totally different time zone at this point. Neil Pearson now, within a half second, just blew the doors off of Matt Long and Matt Cox. To be fair, I feel like after what happened with Cox earlier, that, he should have just gotten out of the way of the 58.
Yeah, I mean, there's Chris Claude getting ready to go a lap down. Here to Dylan Banks on lap 174, trying to make it to the end of stage 2. Now, Chris Claude, once we get to the end of stage 2, will effectively be your lucky dog here in just a few moments whenever Dylan Banks puts him a lap down.
Watching Paul Hill now look to the inside of Matt Cox. All of a sudden, a battle for 4th position. Paul Hill looks, he makes the pass and secures away 4th position from Matt Cox, who now slides back into 5th. Wow, I can talk real good. 5th position. Just ahead of Sean Rogers in the 44. Dylan Banks, though, still controls this race here on lap number 175. Going to be 10 to go this time by.
10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Right now, Dylan Banks sitting high, wide, and handsome. Here comes Neil Pearson doing what Neil Pearson has done best for 35 consecutive weeks. For 36 consecutive weeks. Rather, and that's to stalk the car, his prey. He's like a lion also. But when he pounces, boy does he pounce.
Yeah, he has the energy of a kangaroo. What do kangaroos eat?
Hey Siri,
What would a kangaroo pounce on? Let's check with Google.
what does kangaroos eat?
Checking.
They're herbivores. They rely on plant matter to survive.
Grasses, leaves, shrubs, and trees.
Neil
Occasionally they'll have
Pearson
insects.
starting to wear out Dylan Banks' back bumper. And if you're Dylan Banks, that's the last car you wanted to see in your mirror. Because he will essentially, take you to the curb like a kangaroo.
As Neil Pearson gets ready to take Dylan Banks out to the woodshed, they get ready to go wheel to wheel coming through turn one. All of a sudden, Dylan gets a run over Neil. Neil having to back off just a hair. But Neil Pearson within 0.3 of a second with less than 10 to go now as we approach lap 180, as 185 going to be the end of stage 2.
Yeah, once again, here comes Neil Pearson Jr. off of turn number 3 and 4 through the dog leg, and he doesn't take the bait. Now, these guys, Pearson and Banks, are a second and a half ahead of Matt Long and Paul Hill.
Here comes Pearson again. He gets up to that left rear quarter panel. He backs off just a hair and now takes the run to the inside out of turn number 4. He's going to take the lead away from Dylan Banks. And for the first time all night, we've seen a legitimate lead change. Good God. Neil Pearson takes over control of this race on lap 181 with 5 to go in stage 2.
5 laps to go here in stage 2. Could that be what Neil Pearson was waiting to happen? As, he just did not hesitate to get around Dylan Banks. He says, nope, not today. This is my race.
Not so fast, my friend, says Lee Corso, as Dylan Banks has not finished off this battle yet. But Neil Pearson trying to set sail as he drops the third one here and makes the run at the lead, now extending to nearly a half second.
Yeah, talking to Neil Pearson pre-race, Dave, I asked him, what is Neil Pearson's plan after the Sunday night race here? And he says, relax and get ready for next season. And
I thought he was going to say he was going to go to Disneyland.
He did not say he was going to go to Disneyland. But I asked him, I said, Neil, are you going to do any Australian supercars on everything? He goes, nope, because I like the NASCAR ovals better. He has more exciting racing. And, well, now he's proven why he is so good on these NASCAR ovals.
Hey, if you're good at something, you might as well stick with it. And Neil Pearson, who's now our top playoff driver, takes over the lead here on lap 184. He runs as we're just about to the end of stage number 2. No points going to be awarded that are going to matter. But Neil Pearson with control of this field here on lap 184 as they come to 185. Final lap of stage 2.
Final lap of stage number 2. Here comes Neil Pearson. He is out to almost a second and a half. Now, once we go to caution, that will all get erased, as it looks like Matt Long is on Dylan. Nope, there's Shane Hodgson. He's going to try to get by Dylan Banks also.
Well, Hodgson here in the 93, not really a big threat to anybody, at least on the lead lap for the time being.
I think Neil Pearson wants to get an interview mid-race.
And here we go to the end of stage number 2 as Neil Pearson brings home the green and white checkered flag, waiting for that caution to fly. There it is. Neil Pearson wins the green and white checkered flag here in stage number 2. Dylan Banks, Matt Long, Paul Hill, Matt Cox, Sean Rogers, Bobby Anderson, Chris Davis, Michael Caffrey, and Tanner Marty, your final stage top 10 of the season. Neil Pearson capturing that green and white checkered flag. We're going to get a chance to speak with him in just a moment here, as he is in the Dirty South Racing stable. Speaking of dirty, Yellowstone's back tonight.
I cannot wait.
I know. Here I am on the East Coast, knowing that it's playing right now. But don't worry, folks. I won't be going anywhere just to watch that. I'll stay right here on Sim Racing Media.
I was talking to my father about that show. I told him, I said, look, I think Beth Dutton makes the show.
I'm Team Rip.
Okay. I get behind that. I'm Team Rip also.
I just want to know what they're going to do without Costner. And there's Neil Pearson pulling in, popping up the right sides. Let's see if we can get a hold of him now. We're going to wait one more second, wait till he gets out of his pit box. And with us now as he beats Dylan Banks off of pit road, Neil Pearson, the modern-day Silver Fox. Hey, Neil, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got a copy. How you going?
Buddy, listen, I'm excited. I mean, here we are in championship week. I knew that we were going to have a chance to talk with you tonight. I didn't think it was going to be, this late in the evening, or at least for you, this late in the morning. But listen, man, here we are, final week of the season. What are your takeaways from this year?
For the whole season, it's been pretty good. Like I've had a few wins here and there and on different styles of tracks, and I've had a lot of fun racing everyone here.
Yeah, I mean, this league is all about, making it fun. And, a lot of what we've seen over the last year has been an incredible increase in the competitiveness of these drivers. I mean, the product that you guys put out on the track every week continues to amaze me. I mean, I love, sliding into the booth on a Sunday night and checking you guys out. What do you see from your fellow drivers, and what are you looking forward to most when we get ready to head back to the track in February?
It's a continuation of the long green flag runs, like have a couple of cautions here and there, but the green flag runs are where it's at. That's where we want to race. And, for the most part, everyone's clean. I feel really bad. I turned Sean Rogers earlier. Did not mean to, but unfortunately it happened. But, he raced me clean for the rest of the race, which is good. So we just have to see how I got 123 laps left to go and see how that all plays out.
Yeah, between that and the fact that, you were turned by the 32 earlier, Matt Cox, the one thing that I'll say, and it's something that I've picked up over the years of being associated with this league, both as a driver and now as a broadcaster, is, the sportsmanship. I mean, as soon as you got double doinked by the 32, he was on race radio apologizing almost immediately. What does that mean for you as a driver getting your act together on the track?
It shows, he acknowledges his mistake, and there's nothing worse than getting turned and they just don't respond. It's pretty horrible, and I always like to try to own my mistakes if I do them, or at least review them after the race and then go apologize if it was me.
Well, listen, man, good luck the rest of the way. It looks like you're ready to go back green flag racing, so hopefully we see you here. Championship 4 night. Good luck, brother.
Thanks, guys.
That the voice of Neil Pearson, who, of course, from down under, which, I think is so cool that we're able to take the world and just shrink it down to, a guy who's racing tomorrow, so to speak. And, sometimes we say guys are in a different time zone. He really is.
Yeah, he's back to the future.
All I can think of is watching MASH and saying, well, if you don't call him today, you're going to be calling him next Tuesday.
Well, here we are, Neil Pearson with the whole shot here. The start of stage number 3, the final stage here in the 2024 SRM Stacy Strong Cup Series. The final start of stage 3, and here we go. All bets are off now.
Yeah, final stage of the 2024 season, and folks, I want to take the time now just to thank you all for sticking with us as long as you have. I know that this season has had its ups and downs like any, racing season. And, of course, for those of you that are fans of NASCAR and, of course, iRacing, on iRacing, we sometimes have the ability shorten seasons or do different things with our seasons. And this is the longest one of the year, and I just want to thank everybody for sticking with us and being a part of the SRM family, because this has just been an absolute privilege and a joy.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. And, to your point, we got to thank the drivers because, and of course the sponsors of this league, Brian Tarnowski, who, whose wife is named after this, the series. And these guys, work, 9 to 5 jobs. They come in, they essentially work this job, which is getting behind these race cars, perfecting these setups, and so that way they come out here and do battle every week in and week out. I mean, this is, like you told me at the start of the season, Dave, this isn't just a league, this is a commitment, and these guys have committed 36 Sundays to come out here and do this, and to race their you-know-what's off, and be professional.
Almost 3 wide. Here it comes. Bobby Anderson getting ready to do the dance here with the 7 and the 66. The 66 of Chris Custer in the Tide ride as he now rides just over top of the 88 of Michael Witt. We take a peek up here to Chris Custer, who I feel like we see Custer and Papineau near each other all season long. There's almost like an invisible magnetization between these cars. We see Paul Hill up here running in 4th position. All of a sudden, the cream rising to the top with Neil Pearson deciding he's had enough and it's time to try to run this thing down for the end of the season.
Neil Pearson trying to put his stamp, trying to become the 2024 Stacy Strong Cup Series champion here in the closing stage of this race. And, Dave, I got a feeling 2025 is going to be even bigger and better, as next year you will have the big dog Shane Lake joining you up in the booth week in and week out here on Sunday nights.
Yeah,
and
next season's going to be a lot of exciting, changes here in this, at least here in the broadcast side of things. And I'm excited to welcome in Shane Lake. I feel all of a sudden like we're ESPN and we're getting ready to welcome Joe Buck and Troy Aikman as, of course, I deciding to be your Troy Kenneth Aikman. And he can be Joe Buck, that's fine. But a pair of Hall of Famers with you every week and every step of the way next season here in the Stacy Strong SNN Cup Series. But looking to the inside now of Neil Pearson, Dylan Banks not ready to give up, as he might even strap the chrome horn on here in the later stage of this race as we work lap 199, 113 laps left in the 2024 campaign.
And there could not be drivers any more excited to see those laps just tick down, especially if you're one of those 4 drivers. And take a look at it again. Just as we look at the scoring pylon, Dylan Banks back up front, second, first, same as the first. Lap 200 here. We have reached 2 centuries of racing.
There it is, lap number 200. Dylan Banks regains the race lead, and all of a sudden, Matt Long chasing down Neil Pearson. Things are going to get awful chippy. Watch Paul Hill and Sean Rogers. We've got a 5-way battle for the lead.
Throw a blanket over these 5 cars as these guys have separated themselves, and now they're all back together. Who is going to finish ahead of who? At this point, I feel like that Dylan Banks could win the race. It doesn't matter. I'm watching 2nd through 5th right now, and I feel like that's getting ready to be the real battle here. Right now we're high above here in the chopper as we are watching Neil Pearson, the modern day Silver Fox, go to work on Dylan Banks. Bringing up 3rd, 4th, and 5th will be Matt Long, Sean Rogers, and Paul Hill. One of these guys has got to get a run on the other one. They can't be like this all the whole race.
Dylan Banks leading this race here on lap 203. Working our way toward lap 312 as all of a sudden the 2024 season is in its sunset. We take a quick peek here at our current conditions on the racetrack. Of course, track temperature always a factor here on Phoenix's asphalt. Let's take a look. 85 degrees. That's toasty.
Right, and yeah, with a 76-degree ambient temperature and 14%. It's a dry heat, as Walter would say. I mean, the desert's still the desert.
Taking a look here, Bobby Anderson running in 13th position. He's trying to chase down Chris Davis in the 74. These guys just battling it out for 12th position, but the real mess up here is this top 6, with Michael Caffrey all the way up to Dylan Banks, as Michael Caffrey running in the 54 chases down Paul Hill, and Paul Hill has nothing but Michael Caffrey in the rearview mirror. You have to start to wonder, as these playoff drivers, these last 4 drivers have gotten to this point in the season, do they stick together to try to keep away the non-playoff drivers?
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't know how this is going to shake out, but you got you got 2 Fords and 2 Chevys battling it out. Neil Pearson's in a Ford, or Neil Pearson's in a Chevy, Matt Long's in a Ford, Sean Rogers is in a Chevy, and Paul Hill's in a Ford.
Watch the 44 of Sean Rogers as we work lap 206. Sean Rogers now trying to draw in on Matt Long. A less than 2/10 of a second gap between Long and Rogers. And all of a sudden, Dylan Banks goes side by side with Neil Pearson as Pearson getting ready to go door handle to door handle with the 70, the 58, looking to the inside. They pass the entrance to pit road coming out of turn number 2. Down the back chute, this is going to be Neil Pearson's opportunity to wedge himself underneath Dylan Banks, tighten him up, and see if he can get a run coming out of 4 back to the start-finish line. He's going to have to take some of the dog leg and try to swing himself up, but Banks is there and throws what's technically a block over top of him.
Here he comes, getting ready to complete the pass, coming out of turn number 2 and down that back straightaway. They're side by side doing it John Force style. Here comes Sean Rogers. He's going to make a move on Matt Long.
A 4-way battle for the lead. The 97 and the 44 duking it out here for 3rd position. Neil Pearson trying to seal the deal here with his championship run on lap 209 already. Just approaching the 100 to go mark. Pearson getting the run coming out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, he all of a sudden goes single file and runs away from Dylan Banks.
Here comes Dylan Banks making that move, trying to get back to him. Sean Rogers closing up on Matt Long, though, as they come through that dog leg once again. And here comes Dylan Banks to the inside. Matt Long going to make the power move on the outside.
These playoff drivers have now figured out a way to get around Dylan Banks. They just took the writing out of the playbook of Neil Pearson. They now blow the doors off of Dylan Banks. Paul Hill is going to have to be next to try to do this. He takes the high line. And, we heard it earlier from the 44, and Sean said that high line's starting to come in. Paul Hill looks to the low side. Gets the 70 loose as a goose and now brings along the 54 of Michael Caffrey. They trap the 70 on the high side, and now Paul Hill slides just in front of Dylan Banks. Now it goes Pearson, Long, Rogers, and Hill. All 4 of your championship drivers are up here atop the pile.
Who is going to win this one here tonight? Neil Pearson. Almost a half second. There's the eyeball test. If you're Sean Rogers, the stands in the hourglass are starting to run out.
Matt Long running P2 behind Neil Pearson. He's almost got to get a caution to try to get drawn in closer there. Right now, Neil Pearson with 100 laps to go does not want to see his competitors in the championship 4 get any closer than they already are.
Neil Pearson's got 99 problems, but Matt Long ain't one. Did you like what I did there?
I see what you did. Proud of you.
I learned from the best. 98 laps to go here from Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix Raceway.
Formerly ISM. And, you know, folks, because I don't get a chance to tell him this very often to his face, or in this case to his ears, I want to tell you that if anybody gets the most improved employee here at Sim Racing Media Award, although he also is the namesake of the Bonehead Award of every race, Alan Bergen has done one heck of a job improving on his race, on his craft here in the broadcast booth. And for those of you that want to talk smack, you're more than welcome to go through me, because I will stand and defend this man to the death. We can fight to the death if you'd like. But Alan Bergen, sir, you have done such a great job this season, from start to finish. And when I say this season, I mean really this calendar year, because every time you and I get to work together, I feel like you get just a little bit better every time, and I am so proud to watch you develop as a broadcaster.
Absolutely, and here's the thing. Back in February, I covered 2 Daytona 500s. I sat here for 1,000 miles, and you told me I smoked crack.
I still think you smoked crack. Let's not discount that.
And I'm getting away from making bonehead decisions where I get text messages from Dave mid-race when I'm in the car.
If you do something dumb, you're going to get called out about it, and you were crazy enough to give me your phone number, so I will tell you about it in real time.
No, but either way, look, it's been a complete blast to be able to slide in here on multiple Sunday nights with you and on occasion Matt Metler and.
Well, you know how the weather is in Port St. Lucie.
When it rains, it pours?
When it doesn't rain, it pours.
I mean, and then we call the race during a tornado, for God's sake.
Yeah, there's nothing better than hearing tornado sirens outside your fellow broadcaster's house, and he's going, "I'm fine. We love it here." And the other person who deserves an award is Mrs. Alan Bergen. Mrs. Bergen puts up with a lot of BS, and I may break her stones for it, but behind every great broadcaster is a woman shaking her head in disapproval, wondering how she got here and how she lost control of her man.
Well, I tell you what, she's above the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. And so here's the thing. You guys, everybody here at Sim Racing Media calls it a booth. I call it a studio. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason. I just do. But she's like, I don't watch broadcasts, I gotta hear it from downstairs. It's like my floor talks to me.
Well, it's better than what she thinks, which is talking to a wall, i.e. you.
I got selective hearing.
I have CHS, so it's can't hear stuff. Substitute another word for stuff.
But no, it's like it's been a blast here on the SNN Stacy Strong Cup Series. And, next season, it's going to be even better. 2025, stay tuned as we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I still have the Yingling Flight crumb back in Daytona that I drank, and that is going to start making the rounds with Sim Racing Media. Getting that all signed, and who knows.
Green flag pit stops underway as we're here on lap 223, 90 to go. So they're going to have 2 more pit stops, 45 apiece. Dylan Banks coming down pit road early. Neil Pearson, Matt Long, Sean Rogers, and Paul Hill, they're going to stay out on the racetrack for the time being. Race radio is silent. These guys are doing this. It's almost like a hard count in football.
And you can't give away all your secrets. Right now, Neil Pearson's just all but playing defense and all but on the Sunday drive. here in about 4 weeks' time, at the beginning of December, it's going to be like Christmas time for me on iRacing. It's Houston Speedway will be making its long-awaited debut. And if you are familiar with the old Gen 4, the actual Gen 4 Cup cars, well, it's going to be like Christmas for you too. As the ARCA cars are going to get a revamp, and I would love to see the current Gen 6 cars move to the ARCA series. Right now, Matt Long continues to pursue Neil Pearson. Neil Pearson coming up on lap traffic in a moment's time. As the next car in line, that would be Chris Claude, getting fixing to go 2 laps down.
Keeping an eye right now on Neil Pearson, who's extended his lead to 9/10 of a second. He's starting to gain now on Matt Long, who's got about a second over Sean Rogers, and Paul Hill reeling in Sean Rogers slowly but surely. Slowly I turn, step by step, inch by inch, as we work our way toward lap 312 here in the waning laps of the 2024 season. Folks, again, I want to thank all of you for keeping us right here on YouTube.com, for making us a part of your evenings. And I do say it every week, we want to thank you for tuning in and welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones. And believe me, there are some places that many of us would rather be on a Sunday night, but this is my favorite spot. Right here alongside my buddy, watching one of the greatest leagues in iRacing. Wow! And all of a sudden seeing Paul Hill challenge Sean Rogers.
I feel like you'd rather keep an eye on me in the broadcast booth than watch me in the race car making bonehead decisions. You know, next season, Dave, not only you get an aneurysm on Thursday night, but I'll send you in the epileptic shock on Tuesday nights, as I'm going to make my debut in the Tuesday Night Truck Series in Daytona next season.
I'm all about it.
Look, we got to start somewhere.
Let's do this. Sean Rogers now holding off Paul Hill just before green flag pit stops. And I mean, you know, Sean Rogers laid down a 27.54 and now is laying a 28.62. So he's about 1.1 seconds slower than his fast lap earlier.
Yeah, here comes Paul Hill looking to the inside of Sean Rockin' Rogers. Here comes Matt Cox in that 32, the smooth operator. I almost said out of Oakwood, Illinois, but I know that's not true. You know, and go to Matt Cox real quick. I know we're kind of getting off subject here. But that 32 number, that is Bobby Pierce's number when he switched to the Rocket team of Dunn Benson Ford. Now, here's the thing. That was only one season that Bobby Pierce drove anything other than, you know, the Pierce house car, which his father built, the tall, cool one, Bob Pierce, who I got to watch as a child. And now, as we're going through 2024, we're starting to see the kids of our favorite drivers, like Jeff Burton on the NASCAR side of things. Devin Moran, who is son of Donnie Moran, the $1 Million Man, who won the original $1 Million race at Eldora. But, you know, Harrison Burton, the son of Jeff Burton, getting that win at Daytona over the summer in the real world. I mean, now we're starting to see, you know, even Ryan Blaney becoming a, you know, not falling short of a championship this year. But, you know, he's the son of Dave Blaney, who was the World of Outlaws champion.
Yeah, you know, I always thought that it was interesting to see some of these kids come through. I say kids, they're now officially younger than me. That's where we're at. It's me. We're old people. The gray in my beard shows that. But I always think it's great to see some of these younger kids come through the ranks and do what they do so well in the NASCAR circuit.
Yeah, and unfortunately Dave Blaney didn't have the career that he was hoping to have, but nonetheless, I mean, Ryan Blaney though, I bet he could probably hop in a dirt car and do fairly well, especially if his dad helped him out.
You in this dirt, buddy. You in this dirt.
I love dirt. Look, I love dirt like you know, Angel Santiago loves truck racing.
I'm telling you right now, after everything that we've seen this season, you know, whether it's dirt or asphalt, I feel like racing is back. I mean, I know that we went through kind of an anemic period for a little while where it felt like racing was on life support. But, you know, overall, I think that, for lack of a better term, racing, thanks in part to what we do here on iRacing, is back. And I think iRacing just brings it to the masses in a new and interesting way. And the simulation that we're able to put on here on a Sunday night, I mean, you know, there are some folks as, wow, look at Paul Hill looking to that left rear quarter panel of the 44. He thinks about, oh, they nearly make contact as he rubs the wall. Oh, but this is the kind of stuff that gets people reinvigorated and tuning into races every week.
Well, think about it like this, Dave. So you go back to COVID time, right? Where iRacing is essentially on Fox. And you got drivers like Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson, you know, Timmy Hill, you know, and then you go to the NASCAR Coke iRacing series, where you got drivers and they're putting their races on, you know, NBC Sports. You know, I feel like iRacing, you know, got really big during the COVID times, especially when you got, you know, the Pro Invitational the Pro Invitational series.
Not to cut you off, but side by side go the 6 and the 44. All of a sudden, Paul Hill trying to battle it out even tougher with Sean Rogers. They're trying to position themselves as they go door handle to door handle through turn 3, and now out of 4, Rogers loose as a goose. He's trying to hold on to the 44. The 6 takes the inside, nearly making contact as Matt Cox. But the 6 of Paul Hill getting around the 44 of Sean Rogers is the name of the game, as Neil Pearson has extended his lead over Matt Long to a second and then some. Matt Long 4.2 seconds over Paul Hill and Sean Rogers, where they're duking it out, and Rogers starting to slide backwards. It may be time for those fresh tires, as they're almost trying to make this a one-stop finish to the race.
Yeah, right now, Neil Pearson, the modern-day Silver Fox, he is sitting high, wide, and handsome with a second advantage over Matt Long. Right now, Matt Cox has got around Sean Rocket Rogers, and he is showing why if Matt Cox isn't racing for a championship next season, I will be shocked.
No, I think Matt Cox is just giving us a little taste of what he has on tap for 2025. As Neil Pearson, Matt Long, Paul Hill, and Matt Cox all duking it out here. Sean Rogers, the only of the top 4 drivers not to be in the top 4, as he's now slid back into 5th position. Michael Caffrey running in 6th, Eric Papineau in 7th, Tanner Marty, Bobby Anderson, and Chris Custer, they round out your top 10 as we work lap 243 of 312. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. And, you know, the other thing that I want to touch base with is the fact that this is our first full season without the great Tony Trapasso here in the command seat, if you will. And, folks, for those of you that knew Tony, you know, here in the broadcast booth, he was an absolute joy, and I know that he runs in us and through us in spirit every week. And the only thing that I can say is that I miss my friend. And I appreciate all of the kind words that you've all talked about and spoken over Tony over the last year, and we will never, ever let him go. You will continue to know that this is the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and you will continue to see that Tony logo up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, at least in all of my broadcasts. For the rest of these bums, I don't know what you want to put up there in the upper right-hand corner, but there's always room in my heart for Tony, and he means a lot to me, and I know the rest of our crew here at Sim Racing Media, and he would love to have been here tonight, but unfortunately, God had other plans for him, and he decided that was the time to call him home. And for Mama Trapasso, and I'll tell you what, Tony's mom has just been an absolute joy to have, every couple of weeks sending me a little DM there and checking in. And I'll tell you what, getting to sit down and spend time with her at his memorial service last year was just the joy of a lifetime in literally one of the most sorrowful times in sim racing media's history. And, we've lost a good friend and a good man, and most importantly, a great broadcaster here at Sim Racing Media. But we want to thank all of you for keeping him alive through your laughter and checking in with us in the youtube.com live chat, and of course allowing me to sit here and call the race like he would have, because and I hold that, Alan, you and I have talked about it many times. That is holy, that is sacred, and nobody will touch what Tony has trusted me with. And I just want to thank everybody for keeping Tony alive here on Sim Racing Media.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Dave, and not to mess you up here, but, Michael Witt getting a little loosey-goosey there, and, here's the thing. There's little nuances. I always tell people that no matter what, Tony Trapasso's always here, right? He's always here. Even when you fumble football just a little bit, whether it be a sound issue or a graphical error, he's letting you know, hey, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. But, nonetheless, Tony's one of those guys that can't ever be replaced.
No, Tony can never be replaced. And in the words of Sid Mark, who inspired me to begin a career in part-time broadcasting, Tony Trapasso is the Francis Albert Sinatra of iRacing broadcasting. And Sid Mark would have said that Tony is often imitated, never equaled. And no matter how much I try to mimic Tony's open, Tony's close, I will never ever be him. And Sid Mark, who broadcasted for more than 55 years here in the city of brotherly love, with the sounds of Sinatra on a Friday with Frank and the sounds of Sinatra on a Sunday, who he truly was my inspiration. And Tony Trapasso, often imitated, never equaled. Overshooting his pit box was Neil Pearson, and that may cost him in the long run.
Right now, as we're looking at timing and scoring, none of the playoff drivers are in that top four. But right now, if the race were to end right now, Matt Long would be your 2024 champion. But check this out. Matt Cox, Eric Papineau, and Bobby Anderson, the Candyman, are effectively top three right now as we are running through green flag pit stops. Sean Rockin' Rogers there in that 9th position. And when we cycle back through, that'll put Matt Long second to Matt Cox, who's yet to come down pit road. We're working lap 253 of 312. In the middle, green flag, pit stops, Eric Papineau. Right now, Matt Long, your highest running playoff driver, is the top four in points right now are making their way back to the top of the scoring pylon. Bobby Anderson running second to Matt Cox. Neil Pearson just ahead of him. These guys are all one lap down now, as they're going to get their lap back the hard way, especially when Matt Cox in that 32 car, the smooth operator, will go down pit road here and eventually here in a couple of laps, I would suspect. As you're seeing, though, that time just dwindle away, that interval just gets smaller and smaller.
Paul Hill just ran fast time at 27.45 seconds. He's been saving something for the last segment of this race as we're here on lap 256. We may be in the witching hour, and you may have just seen some of the money stops of this race. Let me do a little calculation here, if I may. These drivers may be able to make it. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tighter than a snare drum, but this may be the money stop.
Working lap 257 of 312 scheduled laps here in the book. Paul Hill now in that 5th position. Matt Long has gotten his lap back in that number 97 car. Right now, if here comes Paul Hill getting around Matt Cox, he's going to get his lap back. 5 cars now on the lead lap. Sean Rockin' Rogers would be the next car to go around Paul, or to get around Matt Cox there, and Neil Pearson would be right behind him.
Matt Cox, Bobby Anderson, Chris Davis, Matt Long, Paul Hill. That's your top 5. Right now, Matt Long and Paul Hill, the only of the Championship 4 drivers in the top 5. Sean Rogers and Neil Pearson, though, not too far away. The worst thing that Matt Long could see right now would be a caution. But Matt Long has a 4-second lead over Paul Hill, and he just came down to lap 249.
Yeah, here we are, lap 260. Dave, be on the lookout, as we are going to be putting together the Tony Trapasso Memorial Race coming up here in the near future. We haven't nailed down a date yet.
So, folks, keep that in your mind when you see the announcement come out. As just completely unrelated here, Matt Cox, Bobby Anderson, and Chris Davis, they all need to get themselves down pit road. They were last down on lap 187 together. Matt Long came down on 249. We're starting to get to hold your breath status.
We're starting to get to major beds you're going to lie in status, too. Matt Cox is now down pit road. I mean, right now I feel like this is Matt Long's championship to lose. As
we've seen him all season long.
I mean, it's like Paul Hill, Neil Pearson, and Sean Rogers are like those opponents that just won't go away. What does Matt Long have to do to, 1, get the lead, and 2, put some distance between the other 3 competitors that are, vying for a championship also?
Well, waiting to see Matt Long come down. Anderson and Davis still out there, as now it looks like Cox came down on 261. Oh my. This is going to get interesting yet, Alan. I mean, now we're into that, who's going to mad scientist their way toward pit road? Who's got that winning strategy? Oh, watch the 66. Let's see if we can catch that. There's the 66 on cold tires right in front of Matt Long. Talk about don't stain your ride, use Tide.
Yeah, don't say you're right. He was tight. Here comes Matt Long. Some 9 seconds behind Bobby Anderson.
Bobby Anderson, Chris Davis, and Matt Long. That's your top three. And Matt Long with a 5.2 second lead over Paul Hill may have finally figured this one out. We're getting here into the nitty-gritty of our time left on the racetrack for the 2024 season. And these guys, they're just, this is getting scary. 45 laps to go now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Matt Long, the Sand City Hourglass is starting to run out faster and faster right now. As Dylan Banks has put it on the hauler, he's had his fun meter pegged out for the night. Mike McConville, fun meter pegged out. Herring's had his fun meter pegged out. Diego Rodriguez, who we normally see on Thursday nights Racers Elite Xfinity or Cup Series, his fun meter is pegged out. John Wilco, his fun meter has been pegged out. Basically, 18th through the end of the fields have their fun meters pegged out.
It's going to be a tough way to end the season for any of those drivers. With less than 45 laps to go, we've got a lot of questions to answer yet. Bobby Anderson trying to be the last of the Mohicans out here. And he's trying to hold off Matt Long. And I don't think he's got enough. I think it's time to get down and out.
I don't disagree with you. I think, Bobby Anderson is on a roll right now. I think if there's one driver, 6 seconds behind Bobby Anderson is Matt Long. As right now, the only thing that's going to help Long that can play in his hands is the lap traffic that's coming up pretty soon. For working lap 270 of 312. Yikes.
Yikes, says Alan Bergen. What a cunning linguist you are. We also like to make Alan Bergen available for weddings and bar mitzvahs for his speechwriting ability. What do you write for the Biden campaign?
Maybe.
Seems rambling enough.
Never mind.
Leave it alone. That's called a landmine. Don't touch it.
It's kind of like hitting the red button. Don't touch that button right there.
We'll be
now my curiosity peaked.
Be canceled faster than the next iteration of Jersey Shore.
Oh, poor Snooki. Jersey Shore. My goodness. What a train wreck that show was.
Yeah, and the people on it. I didn't think that show would be on yet. Here it is. Still killing it.
Oh, kill Lord.
Look, think about... Go ahead. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Look, it's a house full of people bitching and bickering at each other.
Yeah, if you want to see that, well, all you have to do is go over to the Bergen household on a Tuesday.
Only when I said something stupid.
Maybe iRacing is what keeps your marriage alive. You ever think of that? She doesn't complain because she doesn't see you. You're down there in the basement. Bobby Anderson coming down. That's going to cycle Matt Long to the lead. And Matt Long with, let's just see here, about a 7-second, 5-second, 5-second lead over Neil Pearson, takes over the race lead. All of a sudden, things getting real interesting real fast.
Matt Long, Neil Pearson, and Paul Hill. And don't count out Sean Rockin' Rogers just yet. As we were working our way to lap 312. We're almost there. Neil Pearson, 5.5 seconds behind Matt Long in that number 97 car. Whatever happened to shows like The Real World or, Road Rules?
They went the way of the dinosaur, the rotary telephone, and dial-up internet.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I don't know. Now they're showing shows like Teen Mom. Hey,
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm warning you. That is no. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. No, you know what? I'm going to touch it. I remember when my stepsister was pregnant with my nephew, and she's watching this show, and she goes, I can associate with all of these people. No, you can't. There's a team full of production assistants that are helping this poor girl raise her child while her deadbeat teen dad is out there bagging somebody out. You know what? Leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. That's a landmine.
You know what I told my sister when she had her third child? That birthing babies is not a career choice.
Well, ask my dad where sympathy is listed in the dictionary. It's between another word for fecal matter and syphilis.
Boy.
That's how he welcomed the announcement of my son and his impending birth several years ago.
Look, I had the line of the century when my brother told me he was going to be a father for the first time. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was working at a Krispy Kreme donut shop in lovely Fitton, Missouri. And he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, you're going to be an uncle." I said, "Is it yours?"
Seems fair.
He goes, "Of course it's going to be yours."
Honey Buns says that she's proud of you, Alan. There you have it. I see smoke but no fire. Looks like Chris Custer may have bought the big one here. Let's take a look. Oy. Yeah, that's not the way you want to go out at the end of the season.
Maybe the wall wanted to eat some Tide Pods.
Yeah, it's better than putting them on a spoon and trying to cook them like crack.
Did you ever take the cinnamon challenge?
I really thought you were going to say, did I ever take crack? And no, I didn't try the cinnamon challenge. I'm not an idiot.
I didn't either. But I learned that if I eat something spicy enough, I can rock the gallon milk challenge.
I can rock the gallon of milk challenge right now. Let's go. Bring me one. There's a place in Ohio. It's a cereal restaurant. And you can get yourself like 4 pounds of cereal and like 2 gallons of milk. You got to eat it within like 30 minutes. I'm like, well, that's breakfast to me. I don't get it. Where's the challenge?
Hey. What kind of cereal was it though?
Your choice. I mean, if you want to put some Cinnamon Toast Crunch in there, I'll mess some Cinnamon Toast Crunch right up.
I mean, because there's only there's only one type of cereal that I can let sit in milk and it'd be all right, and that's the Reese's cereal.
True story.
I mean, right now we're watching Matt Long. He's essentially going to put that 24 car one lap down, and that 24 car being Richard Pruitt. So he comes through the dog leg, and Richard Pruitt looking to the inside, thinking about it. Lap 285 of 312 scheduled here. Richard Pruitt making it a hard time for Matt Long. Matt Long going to the inside. Does he have enough to clear it? Door bumper not so. There he goes. Now he's clear. Matt Long going to slide in front of Richard Pruitt in that number 24 car. As we are working our way to lap 312, we're at lap 286 right now, coming down that back straightaway, which used to be the front straightaway.
$286 laps in the books. Matt Long, Neil Pearson, Paul Hill, Sean Rogers, and Matt Cox Those top 4 drivers all battling out to see who's going to be the 2024 SNN Stacy Strong Cup Series champion. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here on the call tonight, as of course yours truly is every Sunday night. Alan Bergen sliding up here into the broadcast booth to be the work mistress. By the way, you did get a promotion to that after Matt Metler's exit, which means that Shane suddenly becomes my work wife here at Sim Racing Media.
I gotta be the mistress. Okay.
Yeah, don't.
I'll be the
me
mistress.
Secret.
Look, I'm just here for the bad jokes that I get to tell.
And get paid for it.
I mean, yeah, what else? I mean, look, this is the only job I can do, essentially in gym shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, aside from being a gym teacher, which you are certainly not.
Look, I would never be a gym teacher. Gym teacher, that career path passed me up a long time ago.
Yeah, at least 100 pounds ago.
You just had to do
23
it.
laps to go.
I tell people all the time, the only place I'm running to is the refrigerator.
I jog lightly.
Working lap 290 of 312. Here we are in the closing stages. Neil Pearson 5.5 seconds behind, and that interval just keeps fluctuating as the stands in the hourglass are running out for Neil Pearson. Neil Pearson wants to have a shot. He needs a caution. Matt Long certainly does not need a caution right now. So we have 8 cars left on the lead lap here. Lap 291, 290 laps in the history books here for the final time in 2025 or 2024. Wow, my years are messed up, buddy. As we're approaching that 10 lap to go mark, Matt Long carrying that sitting high, wide, and handsome Chris Davis trying to get one of his laps back to Hardway. Or his lap back to Hardway, I should say. Bobby Anderson riding in 10th position. Lap 290 out of 312. This one's going to start getting real interesting. Alex Princeton down 47 laps. Michael Witt puts it on the hauler once again for the last time of the year. And it's going to be, we got 20 laps to go. It's going to be crazy next year to see all these drivers. Will they stay with their current teams? Will they switch to new teams next year? There is a silly season here. We are 20 laps, inside 20 laps to go.
And you know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, next year we might end up seeing some new faces in some old places, or old faces in new places.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm waiting to see what the Joe Gibbs Racing stable looks like, what Deep South Racing looks like. You know, a lot of these guys are kind of reloading and getting themselves set for 2025 already.
Yeah, I think, you know, Mike McConville switching over to Further Motorsports. I mean, that's a move that neither one of us saw coming.
No, it messed me up when I saw him over there. All of a sudden, they're putting together a cup team.
I mean, and then you got a lot of drivers that are in the Xfinity Series now. They're going to end up moving up to the Cup Series. Then you got some drivers that that might want to reinvigorate their careers and move down to the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series.
Listen, I'm here to tell you right now, the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series is so exciting, and we get to see it every week right here on Sim Racing Media. I can't wait to see what those guys are going to do. And with 17 laps left here in the Cup season, this is when we're going to start to see a lot of those questions get answered.
Well, right now, if you're Neil Pearson, you're wanting a caution in the worst way. As right now with a 6-second lead, right, there's just no I mean, unless you're looking for a small miracle, I mean, Matt Long is just on rails right now. Sean Rogers with 13 seconds back with 15 to go. I just don't see a pathway for him to get to the front, much less the lead right now.
Not without the ill-timed caution, which is exactly what Matt Long doesn't want to see, as he's got a 6-second lead over Pearson.
As Sean Rockin' Rogers continues to fade here. You know, Matt Long has got, like you said, 6 seconds over Neil Pearson in modern day Silver Fox. And I gotta wonder, Dave, does anybody have anything for Matt Long? Because right now, Matt Long's car looks to be on rails.
Yeah, Matt Long is one of these drivers that we've seen all season long. He spent a lot of time as a bridesmaid, finally knocked off that first win, and then all of a sudden became a force to be reckoned with.
As he's looking to put Tanner Marty a lap down here. That would take us back to 9 cars on the lead lap. Tanner Marty going to wisely slide out of the way. Let him go with 13 laps to go. 13 laps left in this 2024 Stacy Strong SNA Cup Series season. And it seems like yesterday we were at the LA Coliseum for my first race in the broadcast booth for this series.
Yeah, they gave me this goofy guy from St. Louis and said, figure out what to do with him. And after I decided that euthanasia wasn't legal, we decided to take this this lump of clay and turn you into something worthwhile listening to. And, buddy, I am so proud of what you do.
Yeah.
Did you hear that belch? Oh.
I did. Amanda Price trying to wheel her man Sean Rogers up to the front of this back. 11 laps to go. And right now, Dave, the stands of the hourglass are all but run out for Neil Pearson. Definitely for Sean Rogers. He's now faded back to 15 seconds. I mean, look, if you're Sean Rogers, there's nothing to hang your hat on over this season. I mean, he's had some brilliant runs, some brilliant finishes, and some races that just didn't quite go his way.
Well, and here he is now watching the sands of the hourglass, go from the top to the bottom. And after all of these races, and I mean, of course we've had, a couple of races at North Wilkesboro since it's been revived, and everything else we've gone through, these 36 weeks have just been incredible. And I love every bit of everything that we've done this season. I mean, 36 weeks is a long time. That's a 9-month season.
We bursted a baby. I did that. Eight laps to go. Matt Long continues to lead here with a 7.5 second lead over Neil Pearson, the modern day Silver Fox. Tanner Marty now 1 lap down, riding in that 10th position. I mean, right now, Sean Rogers is better than 20 seconds behind. 2 seconds behind Matt Cox in that 32 car, the smooth operator, Matt Cox. And Matt Cox has to make up 7 seconds on Paul Hill. 7 laps to go. We're almost down to the half dozen laps left here in the season. Alex Princeton and they had a rough go at 46 laps down, as he's going to go 47 this time by. 47 laps down to Alex Princeton, trying to get all the points he can get from the season. And some of these drivers wish they could put 2024 behind them in the premiere, and that's going to be coming to fruition here in 6 short laps, as Paul Hill is going to come out of turn number 4. So we have 5 laps to go. 5 phalanges in the air for the 2024 season.
keeping an eye on what's going on here with those 5 fingers left in the air. Matt Long with control of the field. This is the one that I didn't see coming. Now, he is the one that I picked to win tonight. He's all of a sudden going to make me look like I had a clue. But my goodness, what a day.
I mean, maybe you knew something that I didn't know.
Yeah, a little birdie from Atlanta. You know what it is? I have a distinct alliance or appreciation of Coca-Cola, and that's why I went with, Atlanta.
But you have a deep hatred for the Braves as they ruined your childhood.
Yeah. It's okay. I ruined the bathroom at their spring training facility. That's what they get. That's what they get.
Apex. You know what?
3 laps to go for Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia, with an 8-second and then some lead over Neil Pearson. As he rolls out of turn number 4, the popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. And right now, I don't think there's anything that's going to stand in the way between Neil Pearson and that checker, or Matt Long and that checker flag and the championship. As we are getting ready to come back down. Dave, this is your sandbox. Bring it on home.
You know how we do it right now. Matt Long rolling out of turn number 4. He can see Barney in the stand with the white flag. The popsicle sticks go down. We're racing back to checkers. Matt Long with a dominant performance here in the latter half of this season. After he picked up that first win, he was unstoppable. Atlanta, Georgia has something to celebrate tonight as Matt Long runs down the backstretch here at Phoenix Raceway one final time in the 2024 season. Here he is. I will introduce him first. The 2024 SNN Cup Series champion, Matt Long out of Atlanta, Georgia, brings home the checkered flag and the Stacy Strong Cup Series trophy. A huge congratulations to Matt Long as he gets a little love tap from Tane Hoddison to congratulate him after such a long season. Matt Long finally gets it done. Spent so much time as a bridesmaid this season. A lot of P2 finishes, a lot of podium finishes, but all of a sudden he puts it together and has a great championship run here at Phoenix Raceway.
Nonetheless, Matt Long, you win your race here tonight. Neil Pearson brings it home second, and rounding out your podium will be Paul Hill. Sean Rogers will finish 4th in the championship point standings. But nonetheless, Dave, Matt Long wins not only the battle, but the war. Right now, Matt Long's going to burn it down as he's going to put it right there by the wall. And, I wish we could give him a championship flag, but he'll take the championship from Stacy Strong SNN Cup Series. Your 2024 champion. The first of many.
As we get to introduce him this very first time, we're going to grab him just as soon as humanly possible. Let's see if we can find where Matty is down here in the race chat. I see Paul Hill checking in. Here's Matt Long. We're going to get him now. Matt Long, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Woohoo! Yes, sir.
My man, look at you, making me look like I knew what I was talking about, bringing home the checkered flag in the SNN Cup. Wow.
Yeah, I got you, man. What an awesome race. I got to thank my teammates, man. Dyson was in here, crew chief, and Neil, man, he might have been the fastest guy today, and we just kept it clean on pit road, and that was the difference. And Bobby, man, we have an awesome team. So great season, big win. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. It's awesome.
Buddy, you belong to feel ecstatic right now. I mean, here you are in the ultimate victory lane. There's nothing left. You put it all out on the racetrack tonight. I mean, and I said it earlier, you spent a lot of time this season as a bridesmaid and not the bride, with plenty of top 3 finishes over the course of the season. You pick up that first win, the impressive win at Chicago, where you had the track for just 90 minutes before we went to green, and it culminates right here as you get to hoist the imaginary, let's just say virtual trophy, if you will. Wow, I have never been so excited to celebrate with someone.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you know, Logano today, they came on the radio and said, we're going to old man them to death. And I was like, that's what I do. Yeah, just try to keep it clean, man, and take care of my stuff. And, you know, honestly, Neil was probably a little faster than me today. And, you know, like you said, a lot of top twos, top threes. But, yeah, keep it clean and good things happen, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of patience went into this championship run this season. We know that. And, of course, you manage, you know, here on the podium tonight, we've got exclusively all of the playoff drivers with the exception of Sean Rogers, who finishes in 5th. I mean, obviously now we get ready to prepare for Daytona next February. I know that it's not a very long off season. 36 races kills a lot of the year, as we're now down to just less than 3 months to go before heading to Daytona. What do you look forward to for next season, and will you be back here in the SNN family of racing?
Yeah, I should be. We'll see. We got some off-season plans to figure out. I'm just excited for the off-season for sure. It's a long season. And yeah, I want to thank, you know, Paul and I have had some awesome runs. Sean, a lot of these guys up front, we've had some awesome racing this season. So, yeah, I want to thank those guys. And, yeah, going into next year, I think we'll just be stronger, man. Thanks to Ryko, they've been putting out great sets. Should only get stronger next year. Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, you know how we do it, but this means so much more. Who do you need to thank? Who helped you get it done in the 97 tonight? And, of course, for the season before we cut you loose and get you out of here.
Yeah, just my teammates again. Chris for running the league, man. I came into this year and, you know, we didn't know which league we were going to run in. We didn't really have a home, and we were able to join SNN, and we had a blast this season. So appreciate Chris for putting this on. You guys for putting on the broadcast every week. All the fans out there watching, and yeah, see you next year.
All right, brother. Well said. See you next year. Can't wait. And, of course, folks, one final time, want to introduce to you the Stacy Strong Cup Series 2024 champion live here on Sim Racing Media. Alan, I believe you have with you Neil Pearson. Back to you, brother.
Neil Pearson down here on pit road. Neil, you know, not quite the way you wanted the season end, looking to get one spot better. But what more did you need out of the car to make it past Matt Long there? And what more could you needed out of it?
Well, basically, I went full Lando Norris in the pit box and choked hard and slid through the bay and then stalled the car. And by the time I got the pit stop started, 6 seconds had dropped and, you know, Matt was gone. So without a caution, there was nothing I could do to get him. And I overdrove it a bit because I was pissed off and angry at myself and fried the tires up probably a bit too much than I should have, but it is what it is. Pretty happy to come away with the second at the end of the day. You know, it's been a very long season and, you know, second overall, you know, is nothing to be angry about. So it's just, you know, my performance should be better.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we have 90 short days until we get back to Daytona. So what's the next season look like? Are we gonna see Neil Pearson make a run at another championship or at this championship next season, or we got other plans for Neil Pearson going forward?
I hope so. You know, I don't know what my schedule is going to be like next year. You know, who knows? You know, it is 90 days away, and a lot can change in that. But I mean, I don't see why I won't be here. You know, it's always good fun racing you guys, and so why not?
All right, brother man. Well, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to take to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, Rocco for the setups, Matt for the win. You know, he deserved it hard. You know, he's been strong all year long. You know, at the end of the day, Dirty South won too, which is good. Andrew Dyson really helped me out with some lines on the track for this week. It's not my strongest track, and he really helped me there and got competitive at least. Australian teammates, they're always there for the support. You guys for the broadcast, Chris for the league. He does run a really good league, and it's always good fun to race on the track. And everyone else out there who turns up week in, week out, it's good fun and keeping the numbers up. It's been a fun year. I've had a lot of fun.
All right, once again, congratulations on P2. Dave, back up to you.
Thank you for that. Always glad to hear Neil Pearson on our airwaves here. Last but certainly not least on our podium this evening and in our hearts, of course, in the 2024 season is Paul Hill out of Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Paul, it's Dave. You got me?
I got you, Dave. How are you?
Man, listen, I'm good. What a great finish to the season. I mean, unfortunately for you, you finished P3 instead of, in victory lane, but you had the Dent Slayer machine cranked up as high as it could go. And I mean, I can only imagine how disappointing it must feel to be in your shoes right now.
Yeah, I didn't do myself any favors in this race. I caught a speeding penalty. Didn't get enough practice in during this week, being having obligations outside of the sim that kind of kept me away from it all week. This was my first race of the week, so I knew I was going to be a half a step behind Neil and Matt and Sean and all of them. I knew they were going to put the time in and the effort, and it showed tonight. Honestly, third place is pretty solid considering the lack of preparation I honestly had. So, I can't be too upset. Shout out Matt and Neil. That was a lot of fun racing them all year, but especially tonight. Everyone raced super respectful in that race, and it was a lot of fun. Despite the outcome, a win would have been nice, but got to put in more time than that. So.
Yeah, I mean, for some folks, myself included, you need that extra practice, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, and unfortunately tonight you get that short end of the stick. But, overall, I mean, what a great season that you had, and, before we cut you loose and before we turn our attention to 2025, who helped you get it done this year in 24, and what are you looking forward to in 25?
Oh, I want to thank all the guys over at Four Wide Motorsports that took me in midway through the season there. So, Chris Custer, Chad Sanner, Matt Gaskins, all those guys. I want to thank them. Chris Claude for putting on the league. Of course, you guys up in the booth, the boys over at Dent Slayer, all my personal friends over there. And I want to thank Matt DeCiani, Joe Galata, and Patrick Gator personally. They've really helped me. I met them through this league, and they're unfortunately not racing here as often as they used to, but they really took me under their wing, and they've taught me a lot about what to look for in a car, how to set up a car, and how to drive at certain tracks, and it's definitely paid dividends in my racecraft. So I want to thank them for what they've done throughout the season, and I look forward to racing in 2025.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations on the 2024 run. We can't wait to see you in Daytona in just literally a few months. So enjoy the offseason, get yourself some rest, and get ready for another 36 rounds of fights next season.
I appreciate it, guys. I look forward to it.
That the voice of Paul Hill, driver of the number 6 Dent Slayer Ford Mustang. And Alan, we've gotten there. We've seen it. This has been the conclusion of the 2024 SNN Cup Series.
Yeah, what a season it's been. A lot of ups and downs for these drivers. But Matt Long is the one driver that stands tall here tonight. Congratulations to him. The whole top 4 in points really has nothing to hang their hat on. They had a great season. Someone had to win it, and unfortunately there had to be someone that didn't win it. And drivers like Neil Pearson, Paul Hill, and Sean Rockin' Rogers, they're going to come back bigger and stronger next year. But nonetheless, we close out another great season and another great production of Sim Racing Media. Dave, I am so excited that I got to be the one to essentially start the season with you and effectively end it with you.
Yeah, it's been a great run with you, my man. And, I feel like you and I have spent a lot of time in the booth together, and I cannot be happier to share this spot with you. And I know that, that somebody above would be absolutely proud to see the work that you've put in here. And before we get out of here, let's take one final look at our last race results of the 2024 season. Matt Long brings home the checkered flag and the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series trophy. He wins it all here at Phoenix Raceway. He's joined on the podium by Neil Pearson and Paul Hill. Matt Cox and Sean Rogers round out your top 5. Sean Rogers, the only playoff driver not to finish in that top 4, but unfortunately there's only 3 spots there on the podium. Michael Caffrey finishes in 6th with Bobby Anderson, Chris Davis, Eric Papineau, and Tanner Marty making up your top 10, with Richard Pruitt finishing in 11th. Chris Claude, the chief cook and bottle washer here, who we could not thank enough for the work that he does in this series, for all of the effort, the hours, the setting up of every session. I mean, Chris deserves a salute from every driver in this session tonight, all 28 of them, if you will. Then, of course, we've got Tane Hodison finishing in 13th position, Keith Long and Chris Custer in 14th and 15th. Alex Princeton, Michael Witt, Dylan Banks, they finished 16th through 18th. 19th goes to John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, and Bryson Alexander in 20th. Diego Rodriguez and Mike McConville finished 21st and 22nd. McConville wanted to gang war with me tonight, but he couldn't get it done on the racetrack, so I guess the only win he's got is for the Philadelphia Eagles. Steve Herring finishes in 23rd with Cody McCorkle and Ken Ron in 24th and 25th. We're sorry to see the season end this way for Ken Ron, but he'll be back next season as always, while Larry Miles and Matt Mackin and Tyler Hutter make up the 28 drivers who took the green flag tonight. For myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Alan Bergen, we want to thank all of you for making Sim Racing Media a part of your evenings for the last 36 weeks, 39 races. It's been a long one, and we cannot be more proud of the product that we put on the racetrack every week. And we want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. So for myself, one more time, Dave Regal alongside of Alan Bergen, thank you. And tomorrow and every day, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. We'll see you next season. Good night, everybody.